Hello everybody, how's it going tonight? It is Sunday and we're here for a stream and I'm gonna hydrate already. Oh, so good, honestly. I probably really needed some water. White Star Witcher, hey, how's it going? How are you doing? I'm having a chill Sunday. How's your weekend been? We've just been doing a bunch of projects and stuff at our new house. I finally got in yesterday 3 big metal shelving racks to go in our pantry area, because I think I mentioned this before on the stream, but every room was just essentially a very empty room. All the closets in the house, except for one in the hallway, was just a closet with nothing in it. No shelving, nothing. Just an empty closet space. Nothing in there. And so we've had to install a bunch of closet-made shelving systems this weekend. Doing good? Alright, I like it. I like to hear it. But yeah, our pantry area, or where we've decided to put the pantry, which is also kind of where our laundry room is and where our water heater is. It's a room off of our kitchen and next to our office. It just it's a large, pretty good sized room, and it's just mostly empty. So we're putting the pantry in there because there is some storage in the kitchen, but not a ton. Not in a lot, or not enough, I feel like. So we're working on kind of getting that all sorted, but up until now we've had all of our food sitting in a bunch of bags on the floor because we just brought everything over and didn't have anywhere to put anything. So I finally went through and got everything sorted on these big shelving racks, and they roll around so I can move them as needed. But yeah, it was quite a project. So I put all those together yesterday, and then today we switched ovens between here and our old house. The oven that they had in the house here was actually brand new, as far as I'm aware. It never been used, looked brand new. It's pretty much almost the exact same oven as what we had. The oven in our previous house was only 2 or 3 years old. And so we actually switched out ovens because we liked our other oven better. So we switched out ovens. We got our old oven back in our new house this weekend and switched them out. We kept some of the stuff though. I don't know. It's just our oven has an air fry feature that we actually use pretty often. We do Chick-fil-A at home, which is basically just Banquet, frozen food company Banquet. They usually make frozen meals, but they have frozen chicken breasts, breaded frozen chicken patties or chicken breasts. They make them in regular and they make them in spicy, and so we'll get bags of those. We'll also get bags of just waffle fries and stuff like that, and then we'll do hamburger buns, toast them up, and put whatever we want on them. My husband likes to put pepper jack on his, I think, because he likes the spicy. I just put mayo on mine, but you can do whatever. But we basically do Chick-fil-A at home. We use our air fryer feature, but it's nice when you're able to use. We have a miniature air fryer at home, but not a big one, and so we use our oven for that. And so it's really nice to be able to have those features again, because we haven't been able to use it. The other thing though that we switched is in the middle on our stovetop, it has a griddle. And I don't know what the previous one was made out of. It was some kind of non-stick material. And it had already gotten a little bit scratched, but this oven that was here in this new house that we bought had a cast iron griddle top. So we switched out the non-stick. So now we have the cast iron griddle, and my husband spent some time putting that on our grill outside and just seasoning it. So it's nice. So we've gotten all that done. He put shelving in our cleaning closet. We had a closet made system in a couple of our closets at home, or at the previous house. So we uninstalled all of those and put them in our new house, because it's we already spent the money on it. We're not going to leave it behind. Let's go ahead and just move it over. So we got shelving in the one completely empty closet so that I could finally get all of our cleaning supplies put away. he's been working on it too, to put shelving in our son's playroom, because I have toys. It feels like they're everywhere. We have like a ton of toys for him. And went through, and then we have bins, and I sorted out his toys. Like, here's all the toys with wheels. Here's all the toys with puzzles. Here's all the toys with animals. Here's all the toys with whatever. And so I sorted them all out, but there's nowhere to put them. So they're sitting in our storage room. They're sorted out in bins, and they're just sitting on the floor, but I don't have anywhere in the closet to put them because there's literally no shelving. Everything in the house is basically designed to be like a clothes closet. It's like one shelf, one bar, that's it, clothes only. And so we're just kind of like changing it up a little, but in a way where it's like, you know, it's the closet maid system, so if we want to eventually like uninstall it, we can do that. I don't know, but it's been like a time around the house, so I'm excited to kind of, I don't know, just sit down and do some puzzling. Speaking of puzzling, let me go ahead and switch over to the game. Switch over to our desktop, get a little zoomies going on. Zoom. Did an escape room with my sister-in-law and her son, and it was me, my husband, and our son. Spaceship Zoom! There it goes. Zoom! We did an escape room. And we had to finish it in like, I don't know, probably like 37 minutes or so. I think we had like 20, let me see the picture. Yeah, we had 23 minutes left. And crushed the room, basically. And it's funny, I was talking to my sister-in-law, and she's like, how did you even know how to do like half of these puzzles? And I'm like, girl, I play puzzle games at least 3 nights a week, including Nancy Drew games. If there is a puzzle out there, my brain is now tuned into solving it. Because, like, there was one thing where it was, like, you had to use, like, a black light and go around and look at a bunch of, like, movie posters. Absolutely. Nancy Drew is helping, man. You had to, like, look around the posters, and in different spots on different posters, there was, like, a letter and a number. And the numbers were, like, 1 through 16, and my sister was like, yeah, we have all these letters and numbers, and I was like, just put them in order by the number. And she's like, I never would have thought to do that, and I'm just like, brain puzzle. And there was, like, one puzzle where it was like, we don't have enough pieces for the puzzle yet, because we had to, like, solve something else and find the rest of the puzzle pieces. And it was like a logic puzzle where you had to put stuff on like a board and arrange them in a certain way. And it was like, this number is to the west of this number. This number is to the southeast of this number. And so you had to put them in order. And I like solved half of the puzzle with the pieces that we had and had it in order. So as soon as everybody like found the rest of the pieces, I was just like, oh, so these go here, these go here. The code is 7814 or whatever. Like, I was just not even, I mean, not that it wasn't very challenging, puzzle-wise. It was a little bit challenging to, like, I don't know, figure out and coordinate, like, all the different people, in addition to having our 18-month-old son who wanted to run around and touch everything in there. Yeah, so it was mostly a challenge to wrangle him and not let him destroy stuff in the room while we were doing it, but yeah, I told my sister-in-law, I was like, maybe we can do another one next month and we'll just choose like a harder difficulty one, or, and the thing is though, I don't know, like, is the harder difficulty, and I guess every escape room company is different, but like, is it that if everybody daunted by the puzzles, hold my Dr. Pepper. That's what it felt like. I was just like, I got this. We're good. Like, and my husband's super good at them too. And so we just like crushed it. My husband and I had been talking about just like going and doing some escape rooms on our own, just me and him. Because I feel like we're both pretty intelligent and puzzle-minded enough to solve a lot of them. But yeah, I told my sister, I was like, maybe we can go do another one next month and maybe choose like a harder difficulty. But I don't know if harder difficulty just means, does it mean like more puzzles? Or are they more difficult puzzles? And I'm sure every company is different and every company has their own way of like determining their puzzle difficulty. And maybe it's just because of like average time to solve it or something like that. Or like, do certain puzzles in the room get certain ratings? Of like, oh, this is a puzzle that's hard to solve. I feel like we did one not too long ago where it was like that very classic puzzle of like horseshoes and there's like a chain and you have to get the ring off. And it was like, oh, we just do it like this. I saw a Rubik's Cube in our puzzle was like 80s themed and there was like a Rubik's Cube. It was not part of any of the puzzles and I was so sad because I was like, oh my gosh, my husband can solve a Rubik's Cube in like no time flat. But yeah, it was just kind of interesting. So I don't know how they determine like difficulty, but I was like, maybe we could try a more difficult one. I don't know. But let's get into tonight's puzzle game. We're back with the Roottrees Are Dead. We'll continue. We're doing a Root Tree Mania. We've only got 4 locked in. Is that true? Oh no. I thought we were further along. So this is a continuation of the main game. We're basically trying to figure out who is a root tree after looking at a bunch of different infidelities. So we've got our main root tree, family tree up here, and then we have possible infidelity 1, 2, 3, and then some kind of just family tree update, where I'm guessing it's somebody and possibly they got married, or maybe it's somebody who was already married, but somebody's had a kid in the like year or so since this has been going on. So last time we were doing a lot of searching about Mr. Guy Hudson here. We figured out his first affair with 5 P's is his actual child, it sounds like. But that's his parents or his mom and her husband. We were trying to figure out Christine Farrow's secretary. We still don't have a picture for her. We had looked up all this stuff about Sonia Alves and then her husband and their kiddo, who's like he's a news anchor in Spain or something like that. I don't remember. It's tough because this is the one where it's like been a while since we did. Hey, Teach, can you bring me a box of tissues when you get the chance?
Box of tissues?
Yeah, thanks, babe. Sorry, our baby, and I'm sorry if I'm like sniffly tonight, our baby has had like a runny nose all day. And so I'm like, I've been sneezing a bunch and my nose is running and I'm just like, am I getting sick? I don't really want to get sick. Oh, okay. And then there's his final affair. Oh, this sucks. This is a game that I think if I were to go back and stream this again, I'd be like, we're doing an entire week of this, because having a whole week in between these, and especially now like 2 weeks in between this, makes it really, really, really hard. Oh. Thanks, babe. You're the best.
I'll be outside with the gate.
What's up?
I'll be outside working on the gate.
Oh, you're doing the gate? Okay, where's the baby?
He's out here.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Love you. Oh, you need to create an escape room for me? There's no way you'd be figuring my brain out. You have to follow like 12 words to 24 endings that need to be condensed down to 2 words that will inadvertently lead you to an answer. Bring it on. Why start with your bring it on? I would love to do something like that. I would love for somebody to create like a truly challenging escape room. I feel like most of the ones that people create are not actually very challenging. I think the most challenging part of doing escape rooms for me is working with other people. Not that I'm bad at working with other people. It's just like, for example, when we did the one with my sister-in-law, it was like, hey, have you guys used this code yet? Like, we figured out this number code 225. Has anyone used that? And everyone's like, well, I don't remember. And I'm like, how do you guys not remember which codes you use? Like, I need to mark them off so I know, like, what codes we have remaining. But I wasn't really, like... I feel like when you have, like, a big enough group or a difficult enough escape room, You really have to have somebody who's not in charge, but somebody who's kind of supervising what's happening in the room. Somebody who can like check off like, okay, we have used this code, we have used this puzzle piece, we have used this lock, we have used this whatever, what do we have remaining? Because that was a big thing that I kept asking everybody, is also because I'd be like, you know, with the baby, and it's like, okay, now my attention shifting back to what's happening in the room. Or like I'd do part of a certain puzzle, like one of them was like a crossword puzzle, and it was like, okay, now that I figured that out, what is everybody doing, what's going on? So if it's not like a very coordinated effort, that I think is difficult, but I love a good escape room, especially like a well-themed and decorated one. And this one was so cool. It was the 80s. It was great. They had like, I think they had like the #1 top hit from every year in the 80s as like the playlist, and it was so good. It was so good. I knew like every song. I was jamming. All right. Okay. So last time we were going through all the notable events. We were going through all the notable events, and I think we'd kind of gotten through them all. This, like, Anonymom and Jane Doe Roottrees, and I think we figured out that, like, she was not really part of it. You'd be pulling from prehistory, old fantasy, combining it with science and literature. Oh, yeah. That sounds really fun. Okay. So, but they did the DNA test that proved that her daughter was not a Roottrees. So the problem is, why would they include, like, Anonymom and Jane Doe Roottrees? Like, I don't know if we ever figured out, because I thought this would lead to more information, and I'm not sure that it did for us. Maybe it's just, like, a notable event, like a red herring type thing. Okay. And so I feel like we had kind of gotten through that. This just looks like a red herring, but probably bass. All right, so I think last time we had gotten some people locked in. We tried to look up a bunch of stuff, and then Clark, Rafferty, LaRue came by, or maybe it was Sam who dropped by, and somebody dropped off more information. So I think it's this stuff, and we haven't looked at it yet. So let's get in here and check this out. Okay, you were given, oh, that's right, you were given some partial staff records to cross-reference by Sam Madsen. These records are based on old tax mailing information. That's right. And it goes by, like, year. So this is, like, 1975. And we were, like, going through, okay, and we can see how much intuition these all have. So this has 3, and then, okay, it was, like, Susan Ford. I'm remembering parts of it now. Susan Ford, highlight that. Oh, start next dream. Oh, go Paris. Start next dream with Roottrees China. That's right, because there were all of these different Roottrees branches, and there was Susan Ford, and she was their interpreter. And we were looking up stuff about Roottrees China, and yes. Also, I'm going to see what this is. Regina Clementine email. Okay, we'll read that in a hot minute, and then we have a picture of something about Mary Beth Clementine and Regina Clementine. Okay, we'll look at that next time, but let's look up Roottrees China, or China Roottrees. And of course, you'd be writing riddles in different languages. Oh no, I'm not good at Latin, Old English, Mongolian, Russian, a little bit of French. Yeah, no, okay. Then, yeah, I think I can do anything provided that the information is given. So one of the things in the 80s escape room, it was like, there was a crossword and all of the answers were like, who's the star of, you know, in one of the stars in the Breakfast Club and all this kind of stuff. But the answers were in all of the posters around the rooms if you looked. I can solve anything given the necessary information if it's at least available. If it's not available, then yeah, I for sure can't do it. I only know so many things. All right, China Roottrees is one of the companies created to manufacture and distribute Roottrees candy. It was developed as part of the Roottrees Everywhere initiative in the summer of '79. During the late '70s, China began to go through a period of economic reform. This led to new opportunities for American companies, and the Roottrees Candy Company decided to pounce. Lang Hongbo, who was said to personally win over the Roottrees family, and was the owner of multiple textile factories, did not wish to import the ingredients and build a special factory to manufacture candy in China. So instead, they made a deal to import bulk unpackaged Roottrees candy and label it for not only China, but additional markets. I enjoy throwing some words in. I don't even know what that language is. Sloggy? See how well you can figure out Cherokee? Oh no! For sure not. If it is anything like trying to speak Navajo, it's so hard. It's so hard because it is so unlike any like romantic language or Germanic language. Obviously, what are the Athabascan languages? Is that what the root is? But it's very difficult. I've tried to learn Navajo before. And it was not easy. Even just like the alphabet and the sounds are very difficult. Okay, let's see. Lang Hongbo. Okay, so they imported stuff. Cherokee's really different. It's nothing like any language. Yeah, that's why they were so good at using like all those different languages, like indigenous languages for, like the code talkers and stuff like that. Like it's so different from anything that people knew. Yeah, it's hard to figure out. Okay, Hongbo, who was already in his mid-50s when the deal happened, only had daughters, and his brother, Lang Hongyu, took control upon his death in 1986. After Hongyu died, it passed to the oldest child from the next generation, Lang Xinyu. So, wait a second. Okay, so it was Lang Hongbo, and then his brother, Lang Hongyu, but Hongbo had daughters. So after Hongyu died in 1992, it passed to the oldest child from the next generation, Lang Xinyu. So is Lang Xinyu one of Lang Hongbo's daughters? Let's just try. We'll start with the first name here, and we'll go down the list. Okay, Lang Hongbo. You come across a website for the Lang Tai Textile Corporation, which is a company that has helped expand Roottrees products to China since the late 1970s. I love learning it. Your name in Cherokee based on who I am is, might butcher it, Awahali? Well, that's cool. It's cool. It's cool sounding. If I'm pronouncing it right. But it's cool. Company seems very accomplished. Their site has quotes from many different reporters and news articles listed on it in nearly every language. It's also mentioned quite often on websites about Chinese businesses, but those mentions are company focused, not people focused, and don't offer any information useful to your investigation. Their page contains a very rudimentary leadership timeline with names that prove that the company has been in the Lang family for a long time. Kind of looks like a family tree. Wow, goes back at least 250 years in some form or another. Oh, I got close. All right. I'll take it. During the period where they began the Roottrees deal, Lang Hongbo in China, yeah, family name comes first, so Lang was his last name, was the CEO. He died before the internet was widespread, so there's not much out there other than his name on this website. His younger brother, Lang Hongyu, is featured on the history section directly following him. This also seems to be the only mention of the man. Aha! The current CEO is a woman, simply listed as Xinyu. The site doesn't list her last name, though she does appear in the family tree below Hongbo, so it's one of Hongbo's daughters. Lang Tai has a few American logos on its page. One is the Roottrees logo, another is Tranquilts, and the third is Piece of Asia. Okay. So I'm going to continue following stuff from Lang Hongbo, and then we'll go back and do Lang Hongyu and then Lang Xinyu. Let's try, actually, hang on. Okay. So really, there's not much new other than the other information that we're already going to look up. So let me just check out these company names real quick. It seems Tranquilts is a play on tranquil and quilts. Oh, Tranquilts. Is the name's ironic considering they're the loudest quilts you've ever seen. The main quilt featured on their website is a flaming unicorn soaring through space with peace symbols all around it. That sounds kind of very fun. Although they were listed on the website for the Lang Tai Textile Company, they don't seem to have much of a connection. It appears that they import cloth. Okay, now let's see what Piece of Asia is. Piece of Asia is the American arm of Lang Tai, located in Pittsburgh. According to their site, the Tai in Lang Tai translates to peaceful, so they chose their name in America to match. There are a lot of other companies listed here, too many to investigate, as very few of them seem to have any relevance. Seems Piece of Asia is nearly as accomplished as Lang Tai. They offer fabrics and cloths at wholesale prices. You don't spot anything out of the ordinary. Business is said to be owned by husband and wife Jerry and Linda Han. Their Chinese names are listed too, and from using an online translator, it seems that Jerry is Han Junwei and Linda is Lang Jinyao. Okay. Alright, let's start with the first name here. Let's follow this out. Okay. Lang Jinyao, though. Lang Jinyao, they must be another Lang daughter. So maybe one of the Lang daughters got Lang Tai in China, and maybe one of the daughters took over a piece of Asia. These will throw you for a loop. Astisti? That's going to be my guess. And to be fair, I have like a decade of reading medication names under my belt. So long words aren't terrible, but these are very different from anything that I've ever seen. Astisti? Astasisti? I'm trying. Okay, so neither of those names really searched anything up for me, but let's grab these names while we have them, and let's look them up in Business Whatever magazine. Business Watch, there it is. Okay, nothing there. I'm searching every magazine, just in case. Even though I didn't think he would be the person that would be the one who would be searched. Lang Xinyao? Okay. Are you in Teen Blast? No? Okay. Astha Yidishti. Yidisti? Asta Yidisti? Ayastiji. I'm not sure I'm still getting any of that right. Okay, Business Watch. Haha, there it is. Oh, interesting. Lang Xinyao is mentioned very briefly in an article about in vitro fertilization from 1979. Article details, in vitro fertilization. Guy Hudson. Okay, article details a new, at the time, medical industry. In vitro fertilization was brand new, barely a year old. After the first successful in vitro fertilization birth in 1978, it seemed the industry began to grow, and a featured article about different companies all over the world and the cost that they could charge for their services was in Business Watch. This included a few cases of high-profile customers willing to pay a premium. Apparently, at the time, the CEO of Lang Tai was Lang Hongbo, and his younger daughter, Lang Xinyao, and her husband could not have children. So, in an attempt to create a suitable heir, he paid Keyjeans to have their child implanted in his oldest daughter, who was unmarried. The cost for this was apparently 380,000 yuan, or just over 100,000 US dollars. Wow, in the 1970s? That's quite a bit. Okay, so the CEO of Lang Tai, okay, so this is Lang Hongbo. So his younger daughter, Lang Xinyao, and her husband couldn't have children. So in an attempt to create a suitable heir, he paid this company to have their child implanted in his oldest daughter, who was unmarried, and that's Lang Zin something. Zinyo, Zin, I don't remember her name. Okay, interesting. Let's look up key genes. Key Genes was a company mentioned once in an article you already read about the head of Lang Tai, but then again later in 1994. Oh, there's a long article that spells out huge controversy. I was like, I wonder if they like get it wrong and it was actually like Guy Hudson's baby. You know what I mean? Like, seems that a whistleblower came forward to the U.S. government about Key Genes, which was said to have been founded in China by a partnership involving an American and Chinese medical specialist who then built their medical facilities in the United States. The article mentions the whistleblower's claim. Key Genes sometimes claim that they performed IVF when they did not. This would often be used as an excuse for an otherwise unexplainable pregnancy. They'd fly their clients to America where they would stay for an extended period of time, then return to China with news of a successful IVF pregnancy. What? What? Salaki. Okay, having fun. Love learning some yourself. You're Cherokee. I don't think my great-great-grandma was on the dolls roll, so our family can't be accepted. So, I feel like you were working on that, right? To see if your family was on there and trying to figure out if you guys could be part of the Cherokee Nation. That sucks. That sucks. Okay, I'm trying to figure this out. Whistleblower apparently presented the Department of Health and Human Services with credible evidence. At the time of the article, it was still an ongoing investigation, but Business Watch speculated, after copies of the proof were leaked to various media sources, they could imagine a world in which a company would be allowed to continue operations without facing serious legal or financial consequences. So what? Key Genes sometimes claim that they performed in vitro fertilization when they did not. This would often be used as an excuse for an otherwise unexplainable pregnancy. So is this like, my husband has fertility issues, like his sperm, something's not quite right with it, so I'd fly to America to be impregnated by somebody else and then fly back and we'd claim it was in vitro fertilization? You know? Like, is that what this is? Interesting. Let's go back. Okay, let's go back to Spider Search. Okay. I know, in some rare cases we won't be U.S. government officially accepted, but the Cherokee can pass a decision themselves to accept members. So maybe there's still some hope. Okay, cool. Hopefully you guys are able to work that out. And yeah, and maybe you can just kind of like really reconnect to your roots. That'd be really cool. I wish I knew more about, and it's interesting to play this game and talk about like family trees and family history. I feel like I wish I knew more about my family history officially. For my mom, we're pretty sure we know who my mom's biological father is, but there's some like questionableness maybe. And it's interesting though because like my mom, as far as I've always known, like my mom's whole family is like Italian, but then I do the like ancestry.com like search your DNA, 0% from the Italian region, like absolutely nothing popped up. So I'm like, am I Italian? Did I just like somehow skip those genes from my mom? Like, I don't know. Like if you look at my mom, like she and I very much look a lot alike in terms of our features, but she definitely looks like me, but like almost like an Italianer version of me, where she has like much darker hair, darker skin, complexion, like all that kind of stuff. And I got like very, very pale. I think there's like quite a bit of my family that's Irish as well. And I don't know much about my biological father's side of the family in terms of like where they come from or anything like that. I'm sure at one point it'll become important to me, but right now it's just kind of like, it's not really something that I've like worked at. But then you play games like this and you're like, oh man, maybe it would be cool to know like more about my family. Okay. So, okay. So this is Lang Hongbo. Xin Yu versus Xin Yao. Okay. So Xin Yu must be the older daughter, right? The oldest child from the next generation, Lang Xin Yu. Okay, before we do that, let's look up Lang Hong Yu. Let's look up the next person in China Roottrees history. And I guess Lang Tai Textile Corporations. Okay. His younger brother, Lang Hong Yu, is featured on the same page. This also seems to be the only mention of the man. Let's just check out Lang Hong Yu in Business Watch just in case. Okay. They might just be like, oh, don't worry about him. He's not important. Skip to the generation that is important, but I'm just checking. You never know. Maybe he's in Starlet. Maybe he's in Teen Blast because he's a hottie boom body. Nope. Okay. All right. All right. So now let's search Lang Xinyu. Go back one. There it is. The problem is we don't know if this is still her last name because if you go forward to the Lang Tai Textile Corporation page, the current CEO is a woman simply listed as Xinyu, and the site doesn't list her last name. So it's like, has she gotten married? Is she no longer Lang Xinyu? We know that she was unmarried if she carried the pregnancy at the time. Ooh. Lang Xinyu is a businesswoman currently running a Lang Tai Textile Company. She was recently listed in an article on a website written by and for women. The article, entitled Empowered, is about the recent rise of women entrepreneurs in China. The article states that due to her lack of brothers, she has a younger sister who we know is Xin Yao. Lang Xinyu took over as CEO of her family's company in 1992 after her elderly uncle was deemed unfit to run the company due to mental deterioration. This is apparently an extremely controversial move amongst the company's employees, and some of them, the article does not state how many, quit and wrote a letter stating that she must have coerced him in his vulnerable state. Since then, the company has been performing well. Her nephew, who is possibly the child that she carried for her younger sister. Okay, so her nephew is currently her second in command, is expected to take over when she retires. In the meantime, the board's stance has been a twist on the popular proverb. The article roughly translates it as, someone that has proven they can do something well can do it 100 times well. An unproven leader could doom us all. The article also offhandedly mentions that Xinyu was an early adopter of IVF and helped her sister have a child. There's an unsourced picture of Xinyu in the article. It says that it's from 1992 when she took over. She was 45 at the time. It has been added to your evidence. Okay. Photo of Lang Xinyu from a recent article about the growth of female entrepreneurs in China. She runs business in many textile factories. Some manufacture packaging for American products. Okay. Cool. Okay, so we need to find out about the nephew, right? That's the part that we're missing here. Is she could be the person, right? If it's affairs through 1982, she took over in 1992, but maybe she's like in there somewhere. Oh, I don't know. Maybe she's, I don't know. She's 45 at the time now. I don't know. Maybe she could be this one or the other one. I'm not sure. But it would be Xin Yu, right? Oh, I was like, who's in our backyard? It's my husband. She's a CEO. I'm gonna keep her there for now, just in case. But how do we figure out who her nephew is, you know? Let's keep trying to look up more. Okay, here we go. Lang Xinyu separately brings up much fewer results than Lang Tai. And we still haven't just searched like Lang Tai yet. Lang Xinyu was even featured in Business Watch in 1992. She missed out on Watchman of the Year, but she did have a pretty sizable article that mentions some of her history. She was born in 1947, the first of 2 children. Her mother was already in her 30s when she had her and had trouble conceiving a second time until 3 years later. This was Xinyu's sister, Xin Yao. It became clear that her father was not going to have a son to pass the family business down to, and this is how Xinyu became involved. Her father stayed president of Lang Tai for a long time, and his daughters grew up. He began training them in hopes that one of them would have a son who could eventually take over. One helped him in China, Xinyu, and the other in the USA, Xin Yao. Neither were given any official titles. When he died, due to the social dynamics, the business passed to his male sibling, a younger brother. Many in the know knew that this could be a problem. His brother, Xinyu's uncle, was not a businessman and was not much younger than his brother. During this time, Xinyu essentially ran the company as her uncle's consultant. He began to have problems related to dimensions, and Xinyu, who had already been running things behind the scenes, performed somewhat of power play. She stopped working until the results of her absence began to cause problems, and only then did they admit that they needed her. Interesting. Alright, let's just try searching Lang Tai. Mentioned in Business Watch fairly often in the last 20 years or so. Lots of articles. Unfortunately, this makes the search results not particularly helpful. When you sort to find the oldest articles, however, one of the earliest mentions from October 1979 stands out as unusual because it doesn't involve Lang Tai's business. Article details anew at the time. Okay, in vitro fertilization. Oh, we already kind of read that. Shoot. Okay. Search Watchman of the Year. It has not been updated. Okay. It said that she had, like, just missed out on being Watchman of the Year, but I thought maybe there might be something there. Okay, that's the same search, basically. Okay. Piece of Asia. I wonder if there's something about Piece of Asia in Business Watch. No. Okay, and what was there about Lang Jinyao? Okay. Let's look up key genes on the internet, on the spider search, maybe? Pronounce key genes. Oh, hang on. Plug in my headphones. I'm getting the beep beep. Okay, medical company, operations in both the US and China, international news in 1994. After a whistleblower came forward, apparently some of their services were in some cases falsified. Okay. Whistleblower proved that a few of their customers paid for a different service and alibi. Company would claim they performed IVF on someone who was already pregnant to create a cover story for high-profile families who did not want to give up the child but did not want the shame of an unmarried mother. So maybe that's what happened, is that maybe Xinyu had become pregnant but she was unmarried at the time, and so they hired key genes to say they did in vitro fertilization. Whistleblower claimed that they had helped to do this at least 6 times, but only provided proof of 1 case. The daughter of an American politician who was unrelated to your investigation. Kijin shut down soon after. Both founders have reportedly fled to Lebanon, where there is no extradition to either the China or the U.S. Okay, let's go back to China. What am I, like, missing here? You know? Okay. Now, do we search Lang Hong New in Business Magazine? Yeah, okay. Alright. I feel like this is so hard. Because it tells us about China Roottree. Lang Hong Bo. We've searched him. And we've searched Lang Tai Textile Corporation. This, though, the company seems very accomplished. Their site has quotes from many different reporters and news articles. So maybe I should just try the Textile Corporation in, like, several different magazines? Okay. Well, let me just try Lang Tai. Okay. This we've already read. So let's try other. Okay, here we go. Piece of Asia has its headquarters in Butler County. It is listed occasionally under many different contexts, as many local businesses are. Nothing seems important except the first mention from 1981. The newspaper chronicles that Jerry Han has traveled from China to open the company, which is connected to a much larger company overseas called Lang Tai that has connections to Roottree. It's not a factory, it simply imports and distributes Lang Tai's product. It also mentions that Jerry is the son-in-law of the current leader of Lang Tai. The son-in-law. Yes, okay, yes. Of the current leader of Lang Tai, sure. The husband of the youngest daughter. Got it. As someone close to the family who learned English in school, he naturally raised through the ranks as they expanded their reach into America. Although Jerry's wife Linda doesn't speak English at all, she is currently taking classes and he is teaching her at home. He says she's always been a fast learner and he hopes that she'll be at least conversational by the time she gives birth. According to the article, this was not the first time they were in Butler. They visited in the late 70s with the rest of the leadership of Lang Tai when trying to court the Roottrees. It seems their first trip wasn't covered by the newspaper. So, can we search Jerry Han in here? Or maybe Linda Han? That's the same thing. That's the same thing. Jerry Han. Maybe Jerry Han would be in Business Watch. Because we really need like their side of the family. Piece of Asia. Okay. Wonder. Okay, did I look up Piece of Asia located in Pittsburgh? Okay. Jerry Han. Here we go. Jerry, Linda, and Mark Han appeared recently on a website called Focus on Philanthropy under the headline Hanging with the Hans. Hans were chosen because they donate significantly to causes that further Chinese American culture. Jerry and Linda were both born in China and fell in love during college. Linda's father led a large company, this would be Lang Tai, After it expanded to the U.S., Linda's father approved their marriage so long as Jerry took over the U.S. portion of the business. Linda jokes this entire situation is like something out of an Alanis Morissette song with how ironic it all ended up. I was absolutely terrified to move to the United States when my big sister was desperately in love with the idea. She used to have this Butch Cassidy poster on her wall and was obsessed with Robert Redford. But somehow Jerry and I were the ones sent here, and now we couldn't possibly imagine going back. When we had Mark, we never even considered giving him a traditional name. Meanwhile, my sister stayed in China and has thrived there. She doesn't even like visiting the U.S. anymore. Our kids are complete opposites, though. Our kids? Okay. So, interesting. Our kids are complete opposites, though. Mark couldn't wait to travel abroad as soon as he was old enough. He's actually in business school in China now, working with my sister. Okay, our niece, who grew up there, was the opposite. She couldn't wait to get here. She started calling herself Lucy Lang in high school and flew out here as soon as she graduated. The name change apparently drove my sister absolutely loco. Okay, so Mark Lang, though. So Xin Yu, the one who's in China, who runs Lang Tai, had Mark, though. She at least carried Mark during pregnancy. The story was that it was IVF. The possible issue here is that it was possibly like Guy Hudson's baby from when they first came over, and it was covered up by key genes to be like, oh, it was IVF, so because she was unmarried at the time. Now she happens to have a daughter, but I guess it doesn't really... I don't think her daughter is part of it. Unless, of course... I don't know. Hang on. Because initially I had her here, and then the son down here. But it could be she's here, and then she has a kid, and also the other kid... But, hi, Puffy can say hi, trying to avoid spoilers. Absolutely avoid spoilers because, there. This game is so much fun. And it's very fun to logic your way through. So definitely avoid the spoilers, but hi! Okay. So let's see. So Lucy Lang is not exactly a common name, but it's not the most uncommon you come across either. There are few that come up with any searchable details, so it might be possible to narrow down your possibilities. Lucy Lang is mentioned on a robotics website as part of Team Talon-Claw. Team Talon-Claw are one of only 2 teams in the US participating on a new robot-based show in the UK. Another Lucy Lang is part of a small women's a cappella group in LA called the Gin and Tonics. A third Lucy Lang works in New York for a business called Corporate Synergistic Solutions Unlimited. I mean, she could be any of these. It's kind of hard. Okay, real quick, let me search Butler County Times if she's been hanging out in... No? Okay, Business Watch. Okay. Lucy Lang was listed in Business Watch for her work with Corporate Synergistic Solutions Unlimited. She's in an article about consultants that corporations hire to facilitate large international changes. Each person featured in the article has a small bio section, followed by a longer section about why they were chosen. Lucy's bio section mentions she grew up in a small Arkansas town, the oldest of 4 children. Why does this not feel like the correct person? Lucy's bio mentions she grew up in a small Arkansas town, the oldest of 4 children. She's only the second person in her family to ever even have left the States, since her great-grandparents relocated in the early 1900s. This can't be the right person. This is like a red herring. She earned her degree from prestigious New York college, started as junior associate synergy engineer, and in 8 short years has worked her way up the company ladder. Now 32, she's the youngest lead synergy engineer in the company's history. Article calls her one of the top facilitators in the U.S. due to her work on a merger between 2 regional dial-up service providers. As a direct result of her organizational changes and policies, the new company managed to eliminate over 200 redundant positions as part of the merger, making it an instant success. Prestigious New York College? Do we think she's in the Herald? Oh! The Herald has a story about their school's robotics team, Team Talon-Claw. Lists 3 student members and talks a bit about each, including their interest in robotics. The only one that catches your attention is Lucy Lang. Here we go. She grew up in China as Min Lang. Okay, I think we had the wrong one and then found the right one. Came to the U.S. specifically to attend university. She says she grew up around factory-scale machines that assembled products that would be shipped all over the world. And the moving parts and automation fascinated her. However, as soon as she progressed through her major, she has become obsessed with smaller, more powerful hydraulics, such as the mechanism that closes Talon Claw's weapons. In addition to robotics, she loves linguistics. One of her hobbies since coming to the state has been collecting accents. In her spare time, she practices not only removing any trace of her native inflection, but also quickly switching between multiple different regional accents. She feels her personal best is the Southern Belle, but her favorite is the Valley Girl due to its use in popular culture. The article has a picture now in your evidence, but why do I need her? It's a photo of Lucy Lang, aka Lang Min, with Talon Claw, a robot she worked on at Mid-Eastern University, found it in the school's newspaper. Unless I need both kids. But this kiddo would not be his baby? I don't feel like I need her picture. I need his picture. I need Mark. Okay, I guess we can also search Lang Min. Oh. Okay. Let's check out the Gin and Tonics, though. Gin and Tonics are a college a cappella group out of LA. She's listed as a soprano. Doesn't seem to be much else about her other than her name, and then she performs as a soloist on a song called Like the Wind. They were featured on a CD compilation called Boca, performing a cover of popular boy band songs. Doesn't seem relevant to your search. Okay. Subways of Your Mind by FEX is an early 1980s pop song, number one hit in many countries, although it peaked in 6th in the US. Still played to this day on contemporary stations around the world, is often found on compilation discs. One reviewer at the time. This is so much like random information, and I can't tell if any of it is important or not. One reviewer at the time was quoted as saying, "Subways of Your Mind is one of those rare songs that feels like it's always existed, and the artist just plucked it fully formed from the collective ether. It's hard to imagine a world in which this modern classic won't become a regular part of our audio landscape for the next 100 years. What a sad, empty world that would be." FEX has had many follow-ups that were just popular in European countries, though their continued success was significantly more limited in the United States. Their next single, Talking Hands, only reached number 24, and their third single, Modern Danger, failed to chart at all. Due to Subways of Your Mind famously starting with a catching opening phrase, like the wind, and perhaps also due to its somewhat lengthy title, those seeking it out or requesting it often search for like the wind. Many lyric sites and music hosting even label it incorrectly, making this mistake even more common. When searching for combinations of Like the Wind and attempting to narrow it down to results that include the Roottrees, you find that an obscure Irish band called U2 once cited both FEX and Jim and Dime as inspirations. As far as you can tell, neither FEX nor Subways has anything to do with your search, and seeing U2 is relatively unknown to anyone outside of Dublin, the connection seems to be an odd coincidence. Okay. I was wondering, I'm like, where is any of this going? Because I think this is the Lucy Lang who is actually important. So what we really need too is we need Mark Hahn. So here they appeared on a website called Focus on Philanthropy. So let's search that. No. Let's search this. Hanging with the Hans? No. Appeared recently on a website under the headline Hanging with the Hans. Okay. So let's look up Mark Hahn in, like, business, whatever, magazine. Wow, really? Mark Hahn? Right, that would be his name. So I think maybe it's not this one. Whoa. I'm wondering if it's like this one up here. Which older over here. So this is Mark. Oh, Han isn't even a last name that I can use. Oh, that's the first name. Come on, Paris. Mark Han. And then this would be Min. It's her birth name. Lang. CEO. I don't know what he does. This is her. She works somewhere. Where did she? Team Talon Claw. She's just a university student, I guess. College student. Mark Hahn. Okay. Jerry, Linda, and Mark Hahn. Okay. Let's see. Mark couldn't wait to travel abroad. Okay, he's actually in business school in China now. So he is also a college student then. Right, if he's in business school. We don't have a picture of him. Now, she's a CEO is what we're thinking. I don't know. Did she have... Or is this like not even... Is this supposed to be like down here? And this is all... I don't know. And we never even found Sonia Alba. This is so hard. This feels so hard. Like, do we think he's going by Han Mark? You know what I mean? Like, maybe he's going by a more traditional name? Mark Ham! Oh, no. I mean, can I, like, look up this as, like, a periodical something? Probably not. Like... My sister stayed in China and has thrived there. Mark couldn't wait to travel abroad as soon as he was old enough. He's actually in business school in China working with my sister. Our niece, who grew up there, was the opposite. I don't know. I think the part that I'm having the hardest time with is like finding pictures of people. You know, like you'd think I could find a family photo of these guys. If they appeared on this website, you'd think you'd like print a photo. Wait, is it Han or Hans? Mark Han. Okay. Alright, let me just search his name. Just in case. And like, am I missing a periodical somewhere? Okay. Just gonna search Team Talon Claw because I don't think I did that. Robotics Club of Mid-Eastern University. Their robot, also named Talon Claw, have been selected for appearance on the second season of a British television show focused on robot fighting. Small blurb mentions that robot fighting links have existed for a few years, but there have been recent moves to televise it. They're one of two teams selected from the U.S. Text-only site. You can find a link from the university's student section. Site seems like it's used mostly to announce the schedule to its members. Club's supposed to meet every Tuesday, Thursday. Last 8 dates have all been canceled because they're currently in the UK for filming. Another date from a few weeks back was canceled for an interview with the school paper. At the bottom, traveling members of Talon Claw listed as Team Captain Jaya Patel. Supporting members, Lucy Lang and Kurt Hauser. Just for funsies. Okay, nothing for either of those. Okay. Alright, let's go back to... This is such like a big section. Tranquils. I don't seem to have much of a connection. Why would it save that search? Langston New. Article entitled Empowered. Article on a website written by and for women. Like, it's hard because I feel like I come across things like this. Hello, Fairy Orb! You had dinner with your friend, but you're here now. Welcome to the stream. What did you have for dinner? I hope it was something good. On source picture of Zinyu. She's 45 at the time. I don't know what we're missing here. Because I feel like we've done a fairly good job of searching everybody's name in Spider Search and in all the periodicals, unless I'm missing a periodical. Meatloaf, corn, and an Oreo bar thing. Ooh, Oreos sound good. Okay. Meatloaf was plant-based and I couldn't have told you the difference. Interesting. I enjoy tasting like meatless meat dishes, like Impossible Burger things, and it's really interesting to see the difference. Keychains. I can't imagine that keychains, like while they talk about the scandal, I can't imagine they would have any like evidence, like a picture or anything. But how do I find a picture of Mark? Because I feel like Mark is the one. Mark's the oldest son. He would have been the one that the whole scandal was about. But I found like a ton of information about Lucy Lang, but nothing about Mark Hahn. Right? He's not Hahn Mark. He's not going by like Mark Lang or anything, you know? Langman. Okay. I don't... So I have this picture and this picture. The bus is warm. I feel like my office is warm. Maybe looking up Zigua. Zigua Roottrees. Zigua camp. Zigua 5-piece. Nothing. Watermelon. Watermelon. Alright, I'm already feeling like my brain is dead. It's only been like an hour. We haven't played for an hour. Ah! Alright. Okay, this still has one piece of intuition. This has 2, this has 3, and this only has 1. So... Okay, maybe we need to take a break from China Roottrees stuff. Maybe we can try and find this stuff about Christine Farrow and the secretary. We just need like a family picture of them. But I don't really remember much. So let's look at the evidence and see where... Okay, here we go. Christine Farrow. Right, Christine Farrow was hired here. Christine Farrow is no longer listed amongst the secretaries, but a Christine Garland has been hired. So that's when she got married. And then Joanna Robertson became Joanna Fellows at the same time. And we have Joanna Robertson / Fellows. This is Christine Farrow and Stephen Garland. So let's... I don't even remember, like, what these people were related to. You know? Right, Antonelli's. He was, like, the chef at the restaurant or whatever. She and husband Steve, who was a chef at Antonelli's. Right. She's a secretary who went back to producing produce, delivering produce on the weekend, trying to save up money to move to Boston and open their own restaurant. So, I don't know if it would be Steve or Steven. He's in there under Steven. I don't know if it matters a whole lot. I'm hoping the game will give me a little bit of grace on that. Let's see. Okay, Steve Garland mentioned a couple articles. First is an article about how he met his wife Christine. Second is from months later. Oh, right, he had like the issue with the book, the cookbook. Local author sued by former Butler County resident. Seems that local author by the name of Mark Zimmer was sued by Garland after Garland saw Zimmer promoting his book Kitchen Tales on television. You could have your highly acute when it comes to plant-based meat, but it also makes me very sick. Oh, yeah, I guess if it makes you, like, not feel good, that would be difficult. Oh, who's this Marcus Zimmer? I'm hoping maybe there's, like, a family photo in one of these, like, books. Okay, and now it's called Garnishing the Truth, and it was by both of them. And Steve Garland? James and Robert, you're becoming amazing men. I just need a picture of them. Okay. We settled it at McCarran's Brew House. Pub in Boston. They have a website. Bar's been around for a long time. List of famous people who've had a drink there. Former President Kennedy. Also, if you're listening to television shows, things. One of them is Garnishing the Truth. Local and regular Stevie G wrote a book about food. We prefer cocktails, but he gave us a shout out at his... Oh, okay. He gave us a shout out. We ain't gonna say no to free press, so go grab a bite at his kid's joint, Friday. Then swing by to meet him for a drink. What is Friday? Okay, this must be the restaurant. It didn't taste anything from their normal meatloaf as far as I could tell. It'd be cool if they could do, like, dishes side by side. Like, you get regular meatloaf and, like, an Impossible meatloaf. Friday is a fairly popular restaurant in Boston. They don't have a website, but many locals seem to mention them in various places. One more in-depth review explains that it's not a full restaurant, just a front door and a very small interior with a window. Unusually, the restaurant only serves vegetables, but a lot of reviews say that, in spite of that, it's delicious. You also find a short story about it listed on a website called My Boston Homepage. Oh, I wonder if this is like a thing. Whoever runs the page seems to just link to random sites related to Boston, tell personal anecdotes related to Boston, and give their relatively short opinions on things in Boston. It's very unorganized. It had this to say about Friday. Wicked overrated. I saw it in Chef's Signature, so I went and there was a huge line. They didn't have a single meat dish. What's even the point? Alright. I wonder if My Boston Homepage is like a thing. Come here. Come here. Come here. Run by someone with eclectic taste, they claim to rate things on a scale from wicked awful to wicked wicked. Most recent thing to receive a wicked waffle was an antique store called Bee's Things. Apparently the owner, Beatrice, was not very friendly. Most recent establishment to receive a wicked wicked is a comic book store in Cambridge called the Million Year Picnic. As far as you can tell, nothing besides Friday seems to be connected to your search in any way. Evil bots, be gone, foul thing. I just ignore them. I don't know. I mean, hey, if they're chatting and it ups my chatter count, you know, I ain't gonna be on it. I mean, it was in a buffet-style dining hall. They had regular meatloaf, too, so I could have. I just didn't want to. It seems like a waste of food. Oh, that's totally fair, yeah. It's always really hard to gauge how much you're gonna eat. Hi, Medio! Hello! Sorry, I, popped in very briefly and left you, a, hey, I love you, you're cool. But, yeah, hope you had fun playing Spirit Fair. Hope you have a good rest of the night, and totally, absolutely avoid spoilies. Because this game is amazing. 10 out of 10. I can recommend. Okay, back to the game. Okay. So we're saying that none of that other stuff seems relevant to our search. Okay, so I saw it in Chef's Signature. This has to be a periodical. Chef's Signature is a magazine related to food and trendy restaurants that covers subjects all over the U.S. Oh, we got another periodical. Thank goodness. Okay. Friday. Chef's Signature covered Friday less than a year ago, right around the time you're doing your initial investigation. Each article in Chef's Signature tends to focus on a restaurant, and like the magazine's name implies, each restaurant lists the one main dish that the head chef is known for. Friday's signature is the samosa cone. Cover and main article has been added to your evidence. Ooh, what's the samosa cone? It sounds really good. Sadness. Alright. Oh, we got another piece of evidence. No, I might have missed it. Thank you for stopping in. Yeah, you're welcome, Medio. Aha, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Are you brothers? Who are you? Okay, Chef's Signature. A nationally published magazine targeted towards fans of unusual restaurants featured James and Robert Garland. Oh, these are only the two kids. According to the article, the two brothers own a small walk-up window in Boston called Friday, play on the tie-dye shirts that the servers wear that exclusively serve vegetarian dishes. Most of the offerings are heavily inspired by the powerful spices found in Thai and Indian food. Signature dish is the samosa cone, which from a distance somewhat resembles a traditional ice cream, complete with a waffle pattern. Instead, it contains fried potatoes, pureed peas, carrots, and a special ginger-based sauce. Robert, who's 3 years younger than James... Yep, we got that. And they are no longer students, though. Yeah, these are Christine's boys. Okay, he jokes that although the age difference had left him delegated to wear the sous chef jacket his whole life, he doesn't mind. As a result, James answers most of the interview's questions. James credits his love of food and his culinary skills to their upbringing. Most kids hate vegetables growing up, but they didn't have parents like we did. Father was a chef, and my mom grew up on a farm that supplied his restaurant. That's how they met. I don't have any memories from the farm or anything like that since we moved here before I could even talk, but they told me stories. My dad's a great storyteller. He even wrote a book that partially helped fund Friday. When we moved, they were looking to open their own restaurant together. Unfortunately, they never got it off the ground. His line cook gig ended up being less temporary than he hoped, and she had to go back to work as a secretary even after Robert was born. Before we were old enough to go to school, we spent our days with my aunt. In the diner where he worked, my dad had no room for experimenting, so he'd exercise his skills at home on his day off. We'd always go shopping and cook as a family on those days, and even though we were hyper kids running around and causing a ruckus, those are some of our family's favorite memories together. Since we were all together. Mom always had an eye for the best vegetables for him to work with, and she did her best to pass that on to us. According to the article, their parents, who are now retired, it's their most recent job, right? Or no, not anymore? Her most recent job is just being a secretary? Their parents, who are now retired, visit Friday often. They even have a signature dessert, the Sistine apple. Apple pie has always been my mom's favorite. My dad always had this stupid line he used to make her laugh involving apple pie. Most people realize that it's a Sistine Chapel pun and assume that's all there is to it, but it's actually secretly named after them, sort of. So like Stephen and Christine, Sistine. Okay. Well, okay, so James is now like a business owner. He's a chef, and do we have a chef and a sous chef, or are we all chefs here? Are we all chefs? Everybody a chef? I don't know which one's which, but I'm gonna go with, oh shoot, who do we think? There's one with a jacket and one just with like a t-shirt. But the one, Robert, I left him delegated to wear the sous chef jacket his whole life. So that must be Robert. And James. This is so hard. Let me just double check that that's not her. I really do think she's this one. I still don't have a picture of Christine. I don't... Okay. Alright, it's okay, Paris. We got this. What nice boys they raised. Yeah, they're super cute. So, who do I have? I have a couple people on here. I have Min Lang. I have Xinyu Lang. I still haven't even found Sonia Alva's picture. How do I find a picture for Christine Farrow? I thought this was going to be like a family picture. 3 intuition points about this. But that's fine. I mean, we haven't locked in their names or pictures or... I don't... Does he... If he's not chef, what is he? A CEO? Advertising architect, author... Are you a baby? No. Chef, comedian, director, doctor, driver, farmer, firefighter, manufacturer, mechanic, media mogul, nurse, pilot, police officer, preacher, principal, presidents, professional speaker, retail. I feel like he's either a chef or a CEO. I feel like he's a chef. Right? Yeah, I agree. Like, that sounds the most right. Nowhere in here is it, like, a business owner. Because, like, not every business owner is a CEO. You know what I mean? But where do I find a picture of them together? It's actually secretly named after them, sort of. Sistine Apple? I don't know if any of this is... Covered Friday. Okay. Cover and main article. Cover and main article. Oh, this is the main article. Okay. I thought I missed something. Yeah, it's just that. Okay. Cover and main article. According to the article. Okay, samosa cone. This is Robert and James. Delegated to wear the sous chef jacket. I feel like I've got them correct, but maybe there's a chance I don't. But I feel like that clue was for that. I'm wearing the jacket. James answers most of the interviewer's questions. Prop to the people who do this for a living. I couldn't find squat about my family lineage. It's hard. Doing genealogy stuff is hard. The one nice part about this game, though, is that in playing this game, you know that the answers are there somewhere. We know that the game is providing all of the answers for us. You just have to find them. Real genealogy is so much more difficult because you're like, I don't even know if any of this is searchable or findable, or maybe it doesn't even exist. So they were looking to open up their own restaurant, never got off the ground. She had to go back to work as a secretary even after Robert was born. Before we were old enough to go to school, we spent our days with my aunt. Is that important? She has a sister? Yeah, the game makes it easier too, yeah, by telling us what's relevant or like if nothing is relevant here. Dad had no room for experiment, so their dad worked at a diner. Their parents visit Friday often. Sistine Apple. Okay, so how did we get there again? Okay, before that, the My Boston homepage, and we're looking up Friday. Okay. Saw it in Chef's signature. I definitely thought this restaurant was owned by Stephen and Christine. Something about apple pie. Like, is this part important? Apple pie's always been my mom's favorite. My dad always had this stupid line he used to make her laugh involving apple pie. Like, why include this whole section unless it's like, it's secretly named after them, like Stephen and Christine, and it's just making sure that you have, like, the right people? I don't know. It's so hard to find their pictures. Maybe we can search Friday in like Business Watch or something else. There's no way this is right. Each restaurant lists the one main dish that the head chef is known for. So yeah, maybe they are both chefs. We'd be finding everyone's pictures just by doing the web search. I agree. So yeah, can I just James Garland? Yeah, they're not even searchable. The truth. Oh, you're the apple of my pie. Maybe that's like the joke. James and Robert are amazing men and incredible chefs. So again, maybe this is just reinforcing that they are both chefs. Met Steve in 1978. He's suing me for stealing his recipes. Settled it at the brew house over a game of darts. Okay. New system coming fall 1999. This is such ancient technology. Cookbook. Those old printings. I don't know how to find a picture of her. And wasn't Christine Farrow also like somebody's daughter or whatever? And I feel like I have them right. So like, is there something weird here? Like she wouldn't be here, right? Mm-hmm. So I never needed anything about Marcon. So all of that stuff about key genes, unless I'm so confused by that. I am so confused because I thought because Min, Lucy, is Xinyu's real daughter. Like that's her daughter. But I thought the whole thing with key genes was the conspiracy that like she had the son, the nephew, Mark, was like her actual kid. Whatever. Maybe they were just like leading me or us down that. Okay, so none of this is... Okay, let me erase all this. That's really frustrating. Because they had like that whole thing. I don't... Whatever. Okay. I still don't know how to find her photo. Right, am I spelling Pharaoh right? O-A-H. Yeah. I wonder... He wouldn't be in there, would he? Okay. He's here under Steve Garland. Okay. Checking that he doesn't come up anywhere else. The problem is you have to search everybody like multiple names. I can't... There's no reason they would be under any of these other magazines. I don't know what you're talking about. I assume it's because... Yeah, it was something that happened earlier in the stream. There was like a whole... like... So this lady is the current CEO of China Roottrees, or Langtai Textiles. That like company that owns China Roottrees. She's a CEO, and like there was like a whole conspiracy thing that maybe she had been she was supposedly underwent in vitro fertilization because her younger sister couldn't have a kid. And so there was like some conspiracy though that the company that used to do IV fertilization did it as a way of covering up pregnancies in unmarried women, and she was unmarried at the time. And so the concern was that she and her family, her father and their family had come over to like meet with the Roottrees, and that maybe they had a kid at some point and they covered it up. But I thought it was going to be all about the son, her sister, her nephew, basically. She had this kid for her younger sister. I don't know. It's like a whole thing. 1 gate lock installed, 1 Tinky Booty change, 1 happy baby. Oh, good. Oh, that poor baby. He's had a rough day, I feel like. Let's see. But thanks for getting the gate lock installed. That makes me feel better knowing that not just anybody can enter our gate now. Our gate to our backyard, basically, you could just like reach over the top and unlatch it. But we got a gate lock that you can unlock from either side because it goes like through the gate, and it has like a thing that I can't remember, something that you pull, and it like lifts a latch on the back side, but one that's low enough that you can't just like reach over and get it. So we were trying to find a way of securing it because I was like, well, I want to be able to get in from the outside, but if I'm in the backyard and it only unlocks from the outside and something happens, I don't want to be trapped in the backyard if I need to get out, and that's like the only way out of the house. So thank you for installing the gate lock. How do I find stuff about Christine Farrow? Who was Christine Farrow's mom? Wasn't like her mom somebody? And they were like on the farm. Oh, it's so hard when you take a break from this stuff. And then I'm just frustrated that I still don't have a picture for Sonia Alves. And I still don't even have any information about this final affair. I mean, we're getting there, but like, if I could just like lock in a picture for 2 of them, it would be so nice to be able to eventually put in stuff for other people. Christine Farrow, Christine Garland. I thought there'd be like, I thought I could get like a family photo of them somewhere. Who was her mom? Or was her mom anyone at all? 5 pieces, the Roottrees riff, 6 pieces. 6 pieces. Okay, here we go. One of Sam's farm supervisors was someone named Elizabeth. Elizabeth had a daughter who Sam never met but worked as one of Guy's secretaries. According to Elizabeth, a caterer from a local restaurant called Antonelli's met her daughter at one of Guy's parties. They eloped quickly due to a pregnancy. Okay, so Elizabeth was one of Sam's farm supervisors. Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, if this is Pharaoh or whatever. Wasn't that rapper guy? This one up here, David Fellows. Yeah, that's 5 Ps. Which we've got his stuff sorted out, and they've got pictures. Okay, Elizabeth. I wonder if it's possible to find like a picture of... I know there were so many Elizabeths, right? Because there was another one. Okay. So Elizabeth. Why is her name in quotes? Elizabeth had a daughter. That's Christine. Worked as one of Guy's secretaries. Caterer from a local restaurant, who we know is Steve Garland. This caterer from Antonelli's met her daughter there at the party. Elizabeth. Like, I'm trying to wonder if there's like something, if we could search Elizabeth Farrow. Like, would she come up in a picture with her daughter? Maybe in like the Butler County Times or something? No, I know I still have unseen evidence, but it's not... I'm not ready to move on to that yet. I am aware that I have unseen stuff. Because basically, like, they came and gave me new evidence for, like, the next, like, section of stuff, but I'm not quite sure that I've exhausted all of my possibilities here. Okay, Guy's main positive contribution, blah, blah, blah. Went for trips overseas. They were often for a long time. Said that he bribed at least one politician to open a factory in Brazil. So that's the affair with Sonia Alves. There's also a section where Sam speculates that Elias may have also cheated on Gwyneth. Gwyn was always much kinder to Sam than Elias was. So this is the other, yeah, Beth. Who's Beth? So that's the previous one. Like, I'm not sure we figured anything out about this one yet. As far as Sam knows, Elias once had a secretary named Elizabeth, a different Elizabeth than the supervisor from the farm, but she never met her. And the farm Sam worked on was the Anderson Maple Farm, right? She was the, like... I don't know. Yeah, I know I still have this photo. This photo is related to this email. I guess let's take a break from the other stuff, and yeah, we can look at this. Wait, what was in my confidential folder? Right, the company records. So have any of these numbers changed? No, not really. Okay. So here's Christine Farrow, right? And then she was listed as Christine Garland. Here's Joanna Robertson, and then she was listed as Joanna Fellows. So we have both of them in our tree. I feel like Christine Farrow is still in there. And possibly she's like our one intuition point. Just because we haven't locked her in or her picture. So I feel like she's like the intuition point from this page that we haven't figured out yet. John Miller. Beth Knox, 50-year work anniversary. Zach Morton retirement party? Like, is there a picture of the retirement party and, like, a picture of Christine is in there somewhere, you know? Bert. Retirement party. Like, I don't know how I would find any of that. Alright, it's fine. Alright, so Guy Hudson replaces Zach Morton. Edward Roottrees, Elizabeth Cravensworth, Lloyd Carpenter no longer employed. Raffertunes. Okay. Who the heck is Corinne Schwartz? Anonymom, but no. Oh, she was the possible Anonymom, and then we realized that she's not related. So Christine Garland no longer working for Roottrees here. Juliet McCullen, Doris Mason employed. Michael Crane, Elizabeth Farrow. So Elizabeth Farrow was over here in farm and manufacturing as well. Hang on. Leadership office staff. Farm and manufacturing. With Mads. Okay. Elizabeth Farrow. So Elizabeth Farrow is Christine Farrow's mom. So we know that much at least. Okay. 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 I can't imagine she would have, like, written a book or anything. Okay. Alright. Thomas Green, Michael Crane, Elizabeth Farrow, and Jack Keatings. I wonder if any of these people are related to anything here. I don't know if any of this makes sense. I mean, none of them have the last name Farrow, though. So it's not like any of them would be, like, her husband or something if they, like, worked together or... I don't know. Special Services Interpreter. It's like a ton of parties. Travel expenses. Okay. Susan Ford is still interesting. Douglas Rosenberg, Edward Morrison, Robert Andrews... Edward Morrison no longer employed. Corinne Schwartz, Anonymom. Linda Lewis, Angela Ingram, Valerie Ewing, Catherine Garrett. Catherine Garrett? William Sims, Emily Seinfeld, Gwyneth Madsen. Became Gwyneth Cattrall. Susan Ford doesn't work in the department anymore. Here's where we threw a bunch of parties and developed a bunch of flavors. No longer employed. Douglas Rosenberg was rehired. Who's Douglas Rosenberg? Okay. Just because it was weird that he'd been, like, rehired. No secretaries are directly employed by Roottrees. They instead use a temp agency. Maybe they had so much trouble keeping secretaries. No connection. Okay. There we go. Amy Sutton. We canceled all this stuff. Root clothing reimbursement. $1 million. It's a lot. Guy Hudson died May 82. Things quickly changed when Ernie took over. Most extraneous expenses ended. All the secretaries were let go. Sam Madsen left Roottrees in 1984. This is everything we have access to. Okay. Fred Gleason, 50-year work anniversary. All these like people who've worked here for 50 years are kind of interesting. Just trying to see like if they've been around long enough to like see anything. There's him. There's also like a Beth Knox, right? Who'd worked there for like 50 years. Would she be under like Elizabeth Knox? All right, I don't know. I don't know how to find this photo of Christine Farrow. I don't even. Fairly common name in some parts of the world. Yeah, no, Beth is a name that the original, Elias man was maybe cheating on somebody with, and somebody was like, "Who's Beth?" No, I know. I can't find any information about her. I haven't been able to search her. So I have Elizabeth Knox as secretary, but I have no idea where any of it would go or how to figure any of that out. Unless there's nobody else named Knox in this document, right? Yeah, there's Beth Knox. No major expenses. Yeah, Beth Knox 50-year work anniversary bonus. And so she would have been there in 1926. So maybe not, because this is 1921. This is like before that. You know? I don't know, honestly. I don't know. Sands. I don't know. Oh, thank you for the hydrate. What was the stuff I had on Sonia? There's so much information here. Transmiso Paulo. Can I search this in? Too many results based on one-off mentions. Nia Alves. Okay.
It's locked.
It's locked. Mentioned her by names a few times. Extremely private about her identity. Once user connections have reported fired from a rival network. Journalists claim that this was to shut down a story he was doing about her personal life, including her marriage in 1973. Right, we knew about that. Past appearances with her husband have been for show. They don't live together. She resents her own parents' the arrangement. Final claim was she must have made her money under the table through nefarious means during Brazil's dictatorship. I don't... Mysterious woman named Sonia Alves. What was her son's name? Flavio Suarez? I wonder, like, again, if I search him, is there a picture of, like, the two of them together? Some fan fiction about him. Oh, Spaceship Zoom. Yeah, this is where we got the photo of Flavio. And we had tried to search him because he was dating Ashley York. Another more recent appearance, the text only mentions she is dating Flavio Suarez. It was in Rio for Carnival. He was on one of the parade floats. Once I realized we were going to his party, well, his mother's party, she runs a media empire down there. So, like, can I get a picture of them at Carnival? You know what I mean? Like, Carnival? In Rio for Carnival. He was on one of the parade floats. I have no idea. How... Okay, alright. We're taking a break from that. Okay, we're gonna take a break from that whole section. Alright. So I have this Regina Clementine email, and I have this picture, Mary Beth Clementine. This photo was given to you by Sam Madsen. A woman named Regina Clementine came to her and claimed that her husband has confessed he thinks he's a root tree. Details of this case can be found in your evidence. Stuart is the older boy wearing a vest. The woman in the photo is Mary Beth Clementine, a singer who may have had an affair with Miracle Roottrees. Oh, dang. Miracle, huh? Miracle been cheating? Miracle been cheating after he had a whole news article claiming that all this is nonsense? I guess we'll find out. Okay. A woman named Regina Clementine came to her and claimed that her husband has confessed he thinks he's a root tree. Okay, so her husband, so Mary Beth must be related or married. Mary Beth must be married to Stuart here. Right, Regina and Stuart are married. Stuart is this boy. So the woman's like, hey, my husband thinks he must be a root tree. Here's a picture of his mom and dad and younger sibling or something, maybe? A singer who may have had an affair with Miracle. If Miracle's been cheating, it'll be great. Yeah, especially since he, like, went to a whole news article and was like, oh, these people are just gold diggers or whatever. So I'm betting this is all of this infidelity here. Because here's the two boys, probably. So the question, so we're thinking this is Miracle. This is Miracle. Miracle was most recently a preacher. And we're thinking it's with Mary Beth. We don't know if her first name is actually Clement, or her married name is actually Clementine. We'll leave that actually unknown. We're saying she's a singer. She's a musician. her husband is this guy. We're saying this is the oldest kid. We're saying he's married to Regina Clementine, but I don't know her maiden name. We're going with Clementine, and in fact the spouse's name will for sure be Clementine. And okay, we're saying that this is Stuart is the older boy. We don't, oh, first name. We don't know what Stuart does. Okay. And this is a younger boy. This one. Who also looks like he likes to sing. He's singing in the photo. Maybe he's a singer? What's this? Okay. Family text messages. Maybe he's also a musician? Yeah, I'll hold on to that. So let's just try searching Mary Beth Clementine. Oh wait, let's read the email too. From 6 Pieces to Genealogy Genie. This is all the information I have about Regina Clementine, née Salazar. Okay. So Regina Salazar. Okay. From New Orleans, Louisiana, and her husband, Stuart Clementine. Wrote me about a month ago. Apparently the Roottrees lawyers went after her since then. By the time I received her letter and called her, she told me she couldn't cooperate anymore. Her husband, who is a police officer, never knew his father and told her he thought he might be a Roottree, but he's estranged from his family and didn't want to pursue it because he had no proof. She wrote to me behind his back. Normally I wouldn't be so sure, but she had some pretty credible facts. Some of it I've been able to confirm. Stuart's mother was named Mary Beth Clementine. She was pretty well known in the 30s and 50s, a singer who went on tour to a lot of churches. You can look her up online. She's a pretty big proponent of adoption. I know for a fact that she came to Butler County a few times. I remember her from when she was younger. And Regina said that Stuart told her that they always seem to spend a lot of time at the Miracle Church. She sent me a photo to prove that she's who she says she is. I've attached it to this email. Okay. So let's start by searching Mary Beth Clementine. We also need to make sure to search her in the Butler County Times. Okay. Mary Beth Clementine, let me just grab this one here. Okay, was a singer most popular in the years between 1952 and 1959. So 1949 would be perfect. She traveled around the country performing at churches. Her repertoire was a mix of religious and popular songs, and although she recorded a few records, they seem lost to time. The only one you find mentioned was a cover of He's Got the Whole World in His Hands, released under the label New Edison. One thing Mary Beth was known for was her adoptions. She's listed on many sites that mention adoption and the history of adoption. She adopted 2 children in the late 1940s, Stuart and Mark. Okay, so this is Mark Clementine then. Nope, it's Mark Clementine. Keep getting it backwards. Just because it's written like last name on the left, first name on the right, because it's got a comma, but then when you go to search them, it's like the other way. It's driving me a little crazy. She also spoke as an advocate for the benefits of adoption in front of the United States Congress in 1949, who were convening to debate and discuss the then recent first adoption of an African-American child to a white family in the United States. She was specifically there to detail her experience going through the system to adopt Stuart. Her other son was adopted later, and according to a single line on one adoption site, under unusual circumstances. So maybe it's Mark that is actually... Wouldn't that be the thing? It's not Stuart who's the Roottree. Maybe it's Mark that's a Roottree. Okay. According to, yeah, under unusual circumstances. In 1959, it surfaced that Mary Beth had been twice divorced, both times to her manager, Sterling. Yeah, see what I mean? So it's first name, last name, but here it's last name, first name. Surface that Mary Beth had been twice divorced, both times to her manager Sterling. This ended her career with the religious audience she had been catering to, and while she performed occasionally since then, she mostly faded into obscurity. Mary Beth passed away in 1994 at the age of 76 of a stroke. Alright, let's search her just everywhere. Probably in Butler County Times, where I'm guessing she'll appear. Here we go. Mary Beth Clementine came to Butler County a few times and played religious hymns at the Miracle Congregation's church. She's mentioned 2 times, though the first visit from 1949 was significantly more substantial. Miracle Congregation welcomes Mary Beth Clementine with open arms. The article mentions that the church's leader was moved when he heard Mary Beth's recording of one of his favorite hymns, His Eyes on the Sparrow, and reached out to her personally. His Eyes on the Sparrow holds a very special meaning to me. As you know, I've had very difficult upbringing, and it's no secret that my own eyes have always been a source of struggle. Song is about overcoming sadness and hardship through Jesus. If God can find a way to watch over every sparrow, he can certainly watch over those made in his image. My family's fortune does me no good as a man of the Lord. It's much better spent spreading his word, and I've felt a kinship with Mary Beth ever since I heard her voice. When I learned her personal story, I knew I had to help her in whatever way I could. The Bible is full of adoptions, from Moses to Esther. Spending your life taking care of those helpless to help themselves is incredibly noble. She and her son are welcome to stay in our guest home. As long as we can prove the Miracle's been unfaithful to his wife, I don't care which one's actually his kid. I know, but the game probably cares. Second visit was a few years later in 1953. The article mentions that her first visit was a massive success, and at the insistence of Miracle's congregation, she returned for an encore performance. It also mentions that the unusual circumstances of her second son's adoption have prevented her from touring recently, but doesn't clarify. I wonder if she didn't tour recently because she was actually pregnant. I don't know. The problem is we gotta find out her maiden name. Alright, now we need to search probably some of these songs. Let me go back to our spider search. Religious hymn, covered over the years by many artists, not likely very relevant to your search. Okay, alright. Let's go back to page here. All right. So let's try this one, and we'll try the label as well. Nothing there. Let's try the label. Let's try the label. New Edison. Small record label based in Los Angeles existed for a few years in the 40s. It raced to release cover records of songs that were gaining in popularity. According to a website about the history of recorded sound, it was named after its founder, Sterling Edison. Sterling Edison or Sterling Clementine? His biggest claim to fame is being sued by the estate of Thomas Edison in Edison Records versus Edsel. So she's already had one adoption the first time she visited. Yeah, so it would be her second child that would be Miracles. You also find a few references to New Edison and Mary Beth Clementine on sites about old records. One collector says that the Holy Grail is a re-release of the Old Rugged Cross, and says that the first edition was originally published before she legally changed her name. That's what we need. Okay. Okay, hang on. Another site claims that the police had to be called to New Edison Records after its owner, Sterling Edison, got in a physical altercation in public leading to a divorce. There are no cited sources or evidence, so her name might actually be Mary Beth Clementine. That might actually be her name, and his name is actually Sterling Edison. Or maybe it's Edsel. We gotta look up that court case, because I wonder Edison Records versus Edsel. I don't know. We'll check that out in a minute. No cited sources or evidence. Site's content seems user submitted. Email address at the bottom, and the phrase, send me your stories about old Hollywood. And I'll add them to the page. We do have a periodical about old Hollywood, right? It's silver screen, focused on the business of old Hollywood. So I also wanted to make sure we searched her in, like, everything. Right? Okay. Maybe Modern Music Monthly. Reviewed and advertised many times in Modern Music Monthly. Most popular recording was the release of her cover, He's Got the Whole World in His Hands. Modern Music Monthly had a very positive review of her cover, and the writer complimented her voice and the tone of her guitar. The review had nothing to say about Mary Beth herself, so it's not of much use. And then, yeah, we gotta find this, the Old Rugged Cross. So, oops, that's not really what I wanted. First reviewed, it's listed the artist as Mary Beth Quaker. So wonder how Mary Beth Clementine came around. Whose last name is Clementine? Okay. Let's look up this court case. Edison Records was one of the first record labels named after Thomas Edison. History of the company seems very unimportant except for potentially a lawsuit they filed in 1949, Edison Records versus Edsel. Website about lawsuits mentions this as a fun case because the name of the lawsuit was actually the biggest problem for the person being sued. A record producer who called himself Edison was immediately outed as not actually being named Edison. Edsel was a German last name, and at the time of the founding of the company, the U.S. was at war with Germany. The company's founder immediately settled to try to get the case to go away, but the damage was done. So his name's not actually Edison, it's Edsel, possibly. Then where did Clementine come from? Did she change her name to Clementine? That's what I'm having trouble figuring out. You find no appearance of anyone named Sterling Edsel in Modern Music Monthly. It seems that whatever he got up to after he was sued by Edison Records, he was no longer seemed worthy. So Sterling Edison. Seems that New Edison Records, Modern Music Monthly had quite a lot of overlap. Countless advertisements for various covers of popular songs. They all started to blend together. Whenever you scan results for anything other than an advertisement, you do find a very brief blurb from when New Edison was sued by Edison Records. By the time the magazine had covered it, it seems like the lawsuit was settled out of court. New Edison was destined to shut down. The owner, who went by Sterling Edison, said he'd likely create a new record company, but there's no evidence anywhere that he did, and that was the last mention of him in MMM. Okay. The problem with this game is that everybody has like 50 names. So can I look up Mark Clementine? How... Both times to her manager, Sterling. If she was married to Sterling, why did she end up with the last name Clementine? Okay, Mark Clementine. Crocodile Clementine is listed on a website titled The Infamy List. It's a massive list of criminals who are known for odd crimes. Although Mark's nickname would imply he hails from Florida, a lot of others on the list come from there, or Australia. He's listed as being from LA, and he has a pretty big entry, and he seems like a real piece of work. There's a small note about him being the basket baby of 1950, but almost everything else comes from his adulthood. Lost his job in 1975 as a pilot for a regional airline after he tried to board the wrong airline's plane. He was drunk. He was charged with trespassing and assault. Ding dang. Yeah, Clementine could just be a made-up name. That's true. In 1982, he was arrested for transporting smuggled animals over the Canadian and Mexican borders for an illegal reptile supplier in LA. He was apparently quite successful for the first 4 years, but was caught when he had to make an emergency landing in Portland after he was bitten on the foot by a crocodile, hence the name. Apparently, the Portland Telegraph is credited as having given him his nickname. Do we still have the Didn't we have this, periodical? I thought we had the Portland Telegraph. His mugshot from this incident has been added to your photos. In 1993, he was released on parole, but his freedom didn't last long. He was arrested in 1994 in San Diego for violating it in an attempt to visit his daughter's graduation. He famously punched the principal, a man named Billy Sims. The incident received national press. This is insane. So, Mark Clementine. Okay, hang on. Where's... Oh, no, buddy. You found this mugshot online. It's Mark Clementine, who was arrested for smuggling reptiles into the United States. All right, we're making this picture. Yeah. He was most recently a pilot, but is he a criminal? Architect, artist, author, baby. She's a baby. Meaning, construction, dancer, director, doctor, driver, farmer, firefighter, lecturing, pilot. Mark Buddy, no. All right. Got Regina Salazar. We got Sterling Edsel. We got his picture. Booyah! That's Miracle's kid. I love that for Miracle. Well, officially we don't know, right? These are people of interest.
Sam reached out to me finally.
Oh.
I think I have you to thank for that one.
You're welcome.
My family's in a bit of a rough patch. Even though the candy is selling better than ever, everyone is fighting over the trust. The majority of us want to dissolve it. On paper, it seems like the right decision. The arguments about what to do next are endless and heated. More than a few Roottrees are worried about losing their wealth. I don't think we deserve it more than anyone else. I love my family, my wife, my daughters, even my son, who I hardly ever get to see. I want to keep them safe and secure. I didn't do anything to deserve this fortune.
Fair.
Hell, I probably deserve it less than most. It took me way too long to get my life together. Okay, enough about me. Here's the deal. I can't stop the majority from voting one way or another.
Okay.
If you keep passing along potential Roottrees, I'll keep adding them to the list. On the other hand, there's been some leaps forward in genetics. It may sound like science fiction, but we can actually determine who's in the family just by testing their DNA.
Okay.
What you've done so far has been very useful. Just keep filling out the tree and we'll prepare for the test.
Because, yeah, that's the thing. Like, we don't know for sure that it's Miracle's kid. We just have some suspicions that there were some possible infidelities. None of this has been proven yet until they do the DNA tests. Okay, wow, he gave me nothing additional. Okay. So, Mark Clementine. Alright, so, wow. Wasn't there like a whole... I thought we had the Portland Telegraph before. Because I thought we looked up a bunch of stuff in Portland about 5Ps. Right? Didn't 5Ps live in Portland? Alright, let's look up Crocodile Clementine, I guess. I've sworn. If that's not Miracle's kid, then I will riot. Portland Telegraph was the one that provided the nickname Crocodile Clementine and has some details about his first major arrest. He's flying weekly between LA, Juarez, and Vancouver in a small plane. His flights were very low, literally under the radar. He's only caught because he was bit by a crocodile in the leg and had to call in a mayday because he was losing blood. Tried to tell them he was a crop duster who somehow cut his leg on a loose piece of metal in the cockpit, but his story seemed very odd and controllers quickly alerted police without informing him. When he landed, they were waiting and he was promptly arrested. You know, that isn't as much as I was hoping it would be. I guess it got us the Portland Telegraph, but not a whole lot there. Alright, let's look up the Basket Baby of 1950. This feels very... Yeah, okay. A few sites about true stories focused on and around religion mention that in 1950, a gospel singer named Mary once found herself dealing with a real-life baby Moses situation. Apparently, she was a rather prominent supporter of the concept of adoption, and someone decided to test how much. They left a baby on her doorstep in a basket. According to sites, she adopted him without question and raised him as her own. Although it wasn't national news, in many circles he became known as the Basket Baby and even went on tour with her as he grew up. None of the websites state who the woman or baby were, likely to prevent people from looking into either of the people too closely. From context, you know that it's Mary Beth Clementine, who would later be shunned due to her personal life, and her son Mark, who would later become known as Crocodile Clementine. Yeah, Mark, it's, yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, smuggled animals bitten on the foot by a crocodile. Alright, let's figure out... He was attempted to visit his daughter's graduation. And he famously punched the principal. So let's search Billy Sims. Principal of Sandstone Canyon High School has 15 minutes of fame in 94 when he was punched by Crocodile Clementine at a graduation ceremony. Pretty much every news organization, from trustworthy to tabloids, seems to have their take on the altercation. So we'll have to check out this name and see if we can find something in all of our periodicals. It wasn't the punch that captured the nation's attention, however. Instead, it was Billy Sims' matter-of-fact response to the threat and his comments afterwards, as heard in a now famous audio clip from someone who was recording the ceremony. Billy saw Mark hop onto the graduation stage and said, "Sir, you'll want to sit down or we'll have a problem." At that point, Crocodile reportedly sucker punched him in the face. Billy, apparently only slightly dazed, said, "All right, sir, I guess we'll have a problem." Clementine tried to throw another punch, but Sims anticipated it and performed a maneuver that spectators described as a wrestling move mixed with a backwards somersault, which immediately brought both men to the floor, with Sims straddling Clementine, keeping him neutralized. As security arrived, the recording captured someone asking, "How did you do that?" And Sims' response was famously, "Trust me, I'm as surprised as anyone." She definitely didn't find that baby in a basket and was definitely her kid. Yeah, and she probably, I agree, maybe she wasn't on tour because she was pregnant during that time. I don't know. This is interesting. This is interesting. Who's Billy Sims? It's in quotes. Is this like William? Oh. Oh, I did it again. William Sims. No? Okay. Alright, let's see here. Did a report on Billy Sims. Information seems redundant. Okay. Okay, News Time did a small piece about it. Tried to approach it from a different perspective. Their goal was to paint a picture of the two men involved from others who knew them best. Not only did they manage to interview Sims' wife, Carla, why is Billy Sims important? And why did Crocodile punch Billy Sims? You know what I mean? Like, not only did they manage to interview Sims' wife, Carla, as well as multiple staff members at the school, but they hunted down Colleen Webb, Mark's ex-wife. Like, why did he punch Billy Sims? You know what I mean? Like, was Billy Sims sleeping with Colleen or something? You know what I mean? According to the section with Colleen, she and he met when he worked for an airline and she worked in an airport newsstand. He was a drinker, would often have wild mood swings. He was charged with assault of a fellow pilot in 1975, lost his job, they divorced. At the time, she was pregnant with their second daughter. So they have two daughters. She felt she needed to get out before things got worse. She left him and moved to San Diego to live with her sister, and told her oldest that her dad had to fly planes for the army. She raised them both by herself, and although she never went through the trouble of changing their names legally, they used the Webb name so that nobody would connect them to her ex-husband. Hang on. Although she never went through the trouble of changing their names legally, they used the Webb name. So their name is still legally Clementine, but they went by Webb. As I said, they never changed them legally, but they used the other name. So it could be one or the other. If we don't get it right, maybe we can figure it out. So 2 daughters. Now, what's up with Billy Sims' wife, Carla? Who's Carla? Carla Sims? Comes up very occasionally, small percentage of the articles about Billy Sims. Carla appears to be a nickname seems to stand for Carlita. She doesn't seem related to your search. Alright, fine. Okay. Piketty magazine's kind of sleazy. They're not afraid to publish a few details that more reputable news publications normally wouldn't. You look up the Billy Sims incident, and it seems that they did report on it. You gain a few new bits of information, though it might not be useful. Once arrested for throwing a Molotov cocktail at a company that was found to be testing their products on animals. According to police paperwork, Crocodile Clementine's bail was paid for by Tostarito Jacobson. Piketty interviewed other students that were at the event to find out if anyone knew anything, and the word was going around that Mark Clementine showed up because his daughter Mary was graduating that night. Yeah, why did you mention her if she's not... I don't know. Mary. So we don't know if that's the first daughter or second, but... Okay. Though it might not be useful. Who's Tostarito Jacobson? Tostarito Jacobson. Tostarito. Fuegos Fiesta, a regional Mexican fast food chain, held a competition in 1993 that offered free meals for life to anyone that illegally changed their name to Tostarito. The Tostarito was a burrito with a cylindrical tostada shell inside the flour tortilla. According to a few different sources, Tostarito Jacobson used to be named Lucinda. Why is this familiar? Why is this familiar to me? Why is Lucinda Jacobson so familiar sounding? Maybe I'm making stuff up. It sounds so familiar, though. Tostadito. I don't know why that's like, it's feeling so relevant in my brain. Oh, Edith Jacobson. Okay. I don't know. Okay. Maybe not. Maybe my brain's just like latching onto anything. Mary Clementine. Okay. Fuegos Fiesta. Tostarito. Tostarito Jacobson. Oh wait, hang on. Let me not forget to finish searching here. Slightly longer than most about the Billy Sims incident, mostly because the assaulter Crocodile Clementine appeared, because of somewhat comedic sensationalism, blah, 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 blah. They found it under a special banner called Crack Watch. It mentions that our good friend Croc Clementine was actually in attendance at the high school graduation because his daughter was walking the stage. He's apparently not allowed to attend. His ex-wife had a restraining order filed on behalf of her daughter, but he did so anyway. It's unknown to the school staff, including Sims, at the time who he was. The security guard recognized him, and that's when the trouble started. Clementine was approaching the side of the stage to try to avoid the guard when the exchange between him and Sims took place. Article finishes by facetiously asking, what will Croc get up to next? Stay tuned for more Croc Watch. Okay, as far as you can tell, there are no more instances of Croc Watch. I'm just, like, interested because, like, why did he want to punch Billy Sims? You know what I mean? Alright. the same article. That's the same information. Okay, we already looked up that one. Just real quick, his hometown's newspaper. Nothing appears to be new information. All rehashes the News Times article. Okay. I'm glad that this is his hometown. I don't remember why it's important, but... Alright. Oh, buddy. Okay, so Mary... And it was like her high school graduation, so she's possibly a college student. Let's, I guess, search Mary Clementine. No, her name's not Mary Clementine. She goes by Mary Webb. Here we go. Mary Webb in San Diego has a website called Webb on the Web. Apparently it's a personal travel diary that also doubles as an advertisement for her travel agency. Okay, so she's a travel agent. Descriptions of Mary's services include booking flights and cruises. Almost all of them involve extremely niche audiences. It seems that Mary is the #1 agent when it comes to booking spiritual vacations aboard ghost ships and in specific hotel rooms that are said to be haunted. She also has a dedicated section for more traditional modern cruises that cater to specific groups, such as fans of boy bands. In the diary entries, she talks about the trip she's personally taken, uses that as an opportunity to feature descriptions of the amenities and excursions that ships offer, even when you're on them to see a specific band or ghost. There's also pictures of ships, hotels, landmarks, and places she's visited, as well as a picture of Mary herself with a ship in the background. One of her diary entries actually mentions the day the photos were taken. She was allowed onto the ship on a port day in San Diego with a professional photographer she knows. The photo of Mary has been added to her evidence. I wonder if her sister is a photographer. Corporate composition photography. All right, Mary Webb from her agency Webb on the Web paranormal travel agency. She's apparently found a niche booking vacations for lovers of the strange and unknown. It's a photo of Mary in front of an alleged ghost ship from the 1800s. It was lost at sea and turned up without a crew several years later. Nobody knows exactly what happens, but fans love to tour it and come up with their own paranormal theories. A company called Corporate Composition Photography is listed in the top left. Yeah, a professional photographer she knows, like it could be her sister. Photography studios listed on a few different sites for businesses in San Diego. Seems to have been possible to hire them to take professional quality photos for business of all sorts. As far as you can tell, it appears to no longer exist. Companies also mentioned on a photography site with some IRC chat logs. Seems like the site is the personal page of a member of an IRC photography channel. They've archived logs they've been saving since '93. One of them from '96 when Val, the former head photographer from Corporate Composition Photography, did a Q&A with their users about taking pictures for promotional materials and print ads. Most of the questions and answers are pretty technical. They not only seem irrelevant, but generally go over your head. One of the questions, however, mentions that Val was on the cover of Telephoto and asks about Iraq. The question was quickly shut down by the person running the Q&A, who said Val does not wish to answer any questions from his photojournalism days, nor does he wish to talk about LBP. LBP. Please keep this on the subject of commercial photography. Okay, now we've got Telephoto. Val. Okay. Alright. Val. But Val is a guy. Nor does he wish to talk about LBP. What is LBP? Oh, man. Telephoto. Val. Clementine? Do I have a Val? I have a Valerie. Webb? Val Webb? Not Clementine. Webb. Val. Telephoto. This person was on the cover of Telephoto. Iraq? I'm confused as to why I can't look this up. Weird. Just Q&A? Like, yeah, what is LBP? Nor does he wish to talk about LBP. Okay. Weird. Lebanese pound? Lower back pain, Lebanese paint, lower blood pressure, Louisiana Board of Pharmacy, Long Beach Peninsula. Oh, Lincoln baby photography or luxury bridal photography? Let's go with Lincoln baby photography. Lincoln baby photography seems like a solid lead as it mentions a Val, an award-winning photographer, on the page. It's a business in Beacon, New York. And on the site it has a picture of a baby and a camera captioned with Cam Lincoln reaching for his namesake. I guess he takes after his father, Val. At the bottom, the website says copyright 1998 to 99. What? Cam Lincoln reaching for his namesake. Cam as in camera. So it looks like the Pixar ball for a second. Cam Lincoln reaching for his namesake. I guess he takes after his father, Val. I'm trying to figure out, like, is Val... trying to figure out how Val is related. Is like, this got linked because of Mary Webb. Yeah, so Val Lincoln. I'm not really sure. So this is from a picture from a photographer she knows. So how is any of this related? Like, is this her significant other? Or I was trying to think, is this like her sister who became transgender? But maybe that's too much for the 90s. Maybe we got a Val Lincoln. Cam Lincoln reaching for his namesake. Maybe the camera. I guess he takes after his father, so Val Lincoln. The only Val Lincoln with any kind of web presence is Valerie Lincoln, a realtor in Michigan. No connection between Valerie and the Roottrees. Here we go. Val Lincoln was featured in Telephoto, a cover which featured one of his photos as well as portions of the article. Okay. So maybe this is just her significant other. Clementine, U.S. Army. So was she in the army? Mary? Initially in the army, and that's how he met Mary? That's how Val met Mary? Telephoto's a photography magazine. 1992 issue focuses on the photos of Val Lincoln, a photographer who went overseas during Desert Storm. He won the CPO Award for photojournalism specifically for the photo on the cover. Val got his start in high school when he took a photography class because, in his own words, he couldn't decide what else to do and thought it would be the best career in the world to shoot for Playboy. But he quickly found he had a knack for it and began to skip lunch in his free periods to spend more time in the darkroom. After graduating, he tried to pivot to landscape photography, but didn't have any passion for it. Worked much better when I'm trying to tell the story of a person or an object. He got lucky when a photographer mentor of his who was going overseas to cover the war decided to take a chance on him. Most people wouldn't call it lucky to go to an active war zone for no pay, but he bought my plane tickets, all my meals, even pulled some strings so we could rush my passport. For someone that never had a real job or even left California, it was a hell of a break. Val was only 19 at the time and shot the photo that won him an award on the third night that he was there. The photo depicts Lisa Clementine, who lost an arm in Operation Desert Saber. According to the article, women were not subject to direct combat and Lisa was in a vehicle at the time. The vehicle had to pull over suddenly when the road ahead was partially destroyed, and she and a fellow soldier were severely injured by a landmine. Val says, I ran into Lisa just after her surgery and took this picture. Until she shipped out, I kept finding excuses to go back and take more pictures of her. I guess it was fate because that's the photo that won me an award, got me into your magazine, and also led to my engagement. Just earlier this week, she agreed to become Mrs. Lincoln. So here's my thought. This is Lisa. This is Lisa Clementine. She was a soldier, military. This is Mary Clementine, the travel agent who has no children. All right. This is, I haven't taken any of the pictures. Hang on. All right. Snap. Yeah, he is Lisa's husband. Exactly. And Mary knows him because that's her brother-in-law. Yeah. And then this is their kiddo Cam. Now, does Cam stand for something like Cameron, or is it just Cam? I'm not entirely sure. But let's see. Occupation. I love this. Occupation, baby. Oh, my headphones became unplugged. That's probably okay. So this is Lincoln. This is, as far as we know, just Cam. All right. I'm trying to see. The problem is I only have like 3 people here. All right. This is Lisa. This is Mary. This is Cam. Also, I feel like this family tree update is probably Stephanie Landon's baby. I'm gonna search her real quick. Alright, she was pregnant in her stuff. Isn't that Stephanie Landon? She won her election. You also find full version of the newspaper. Most of it's unimportant. Maybe Brian Jones. Jones graphic and print. Unchanged. There we go. Seems that Brian Jones has been busy updating Stephanie Jones's campaign website. 2 new sections exist. Their first is baby photo. There you see a picture of their new family together in the hospital. According to the site, our daughter was named after her grandmother, which ended up being very fitting considering she was born the night before Christmas. Second is, what's next? Not much of substance there right now. Lists some small accomplishments and finishes with recent rise in popularity and controversy surrounding my extended family, has spent some extra attention on me. Stay tuned for announcements in the coming months about how I plan to use this publicity to accomplish bigger and better things. Oh, so cute. Brian Jones posted this photo of his family together in the hospital following the birth of their newborn girl. His daughter is wearing an adorable little Santa hat, and his wife Stephanie is giving her signature thumbs up move from her campaign literature. Alright. Named after her grandmother. Mother, grandmother. Clara? So is that... Oh. Alright. I want to see if I get this right first. It's not Clara? Occupation, baby. She was named after her grandmother, which is good because it was right before Christmas. Barbara, Beatrice, Beth. Carlita is on here. Eve, that's probably a good one. Oh, Eve is not on here. That was a really good guess, though. Oh, her grandmother is Catherine. No, what was her? It's go away. The baby's grandmother. So Caroline, Eloise, Caroline. The baby's grandmother. What was named after her grandmother, which ended up being very fitting considering she was born the night before Christmas. The problem is it not her mother, but maybe Brian Jones's grandmother, you know? Colleen, Courtney May, Danielle, David, Doris, Douglas, let's see, Elizabeth, Emily, Greta, Heather, Isabel, Jerry, Joanna, Judy, Juliet, Joy, Kristen, Linda, Lisa, Lucy. Eve sounded like such a good guess. Mary, Beth, Ophelia, Regina, Riley, Robert, Ruby. What do any of these have to do with the day before Christmas? Angela, Ashley, Isla, Barbara, Beatrice, Beth, Carlita. Oh, Carol. Carol? Like a Christmas carol? But that's not locking anything in. So the thing is, though, I'm pretty positive that we have this all correct. And I really don't want to do Stephanie's picture because I really want to use this as a way to find the baby's name. Catherine, Christine, Colleen, Corrine, Courtney May, Danielle, Doris, Elizabeth, Emily, Greta, Heather, Jaya, Joanna, Judy, Juliet, Carol because of Caroline, right? Like, yeah, it doesn't... Isabel. Okay, I was down to Juliet, Kristen, Linda, Lisa, Lucy, Marsha, Mary, Beth, Melissa, Ophelia. I'm just doing all the names. There's 2 Victors. That's what I was wondering if the last name was wrong. But I can't pick Landon as the last name. I can pick Jones. Zinyu Jones. Oh, let's see, hang on here. The problem is, if this is wrong, then I have something else wrong on the other side. I'll leave it as Carol, though. Do we put both the girls as Clementine? Should I put them as Webb, do you think? I thought there was something about... I mean, the thing is, though, like, her last name is Clementine, right? It's on her... It's on her uniform. We put them both in as Clementine, because... That's their legal last name. I would assume the army would know. And the mom said, like, I didn't want them associated with it, so I called them something else, although I never legally changed their name. Right? I don't remember where that was, unfortunately. I think Stephanie Jones's campaign. So she's Stephanie Jones now? Does that matter? I don't know. Daughter was named after her grandmother. Yeah, so absolutely Clementine, right? Okay. Unless one is Clementine and... No, it's their birth names, though. Is there a there's no possibility that they're switched. Right? So is Cam wrong? Are you not Cam Lincoln for some reason? What do we have wrong here? Maybe she's not still in the military? Well, would she be under Lisa Clementine if that's her legal... And that's like the name on her uniform? Val Lincoln featured in telephoto article. Okay. Yeah, just earlier this week, she agreed to become Mrs. Lincoln. Oh, Lisa Lincoln. Like, if we search her, that's her married name now. Okay. According to a military... Good job. According to a military website, you find an amputee who lost a limb in Desert Storm, runs a support group for fellow veterans in Beacon, New York. She makes another appearance. This is a professor at West Point. There we go. I was like, she must have a new job that's not military. That's probably what we had wrong. Teaches classes that contribute to their environmental engineering major. Short biography on the staff page mentions that she had a passion for the military from a very young age due to erroneously believing that a family member was an Air Force pilot. While she later learned that to be untrue, her passion remained and she joined the ROTC in high school. From there, she enlisted. After returning from Desert Storm, she earned her degree and relocated to West Point to teach a few years ago. Okay, so she's a professor now. And the baby's name is Carol, after Caroline. Woohoo! We got Colleen Webb and Val Lincoln and Brian Jones and the pictures. Booyah. Okay. So let me get Stephanie's picture in. Alright, so we solved all that. I'm still bugged by all this. Okay. So I don't think any of this changes the intuition. Maybe it doesn't change. I thought maybe it would go down as we find stuff out. So it lists them in order of... Okay. So this article has a lot going on in it. I mean, we know that it had stuff about Crocodile Clementine. Did we ever even figure out why he wanted to punch that guy? Billy, what's his face? Billy... something. And who was Cicely Sanchez? I don't remember any of this. Who's Cicely Sanchez? Issue that focused on talking toy. Okay. Canceled book by Cicely Sanchez. The book subject was Guy Hudson. The issue was said to contain pictures that Cicely did not have the right to publish. Because of the pictures, this issue was pulled from store shelves. Due to the recall, the version found in these archives is incomplete. So I wonder if there's a way to find another version of this magazine issue. So what's it called? Basilbub? Issue of Picotee. Let's just search Picotee magazine and see what happens. At one point, Picotee ran an article about Cicely Sanchez. Magazine was threatened. Okay, this particular issue, Big Sass Seabass, was pulled from shelves. Especially amongst conspiracy theorists attempting to figure out what the Roottrees company was hiding. You find a recently finished online auction that listed a copy at over $1,000. Big Sass Seabass, talking fish that sits on a fake mountain on your wall. Okay, it was people considered a ripoff of a more popular wall-mounted communication-based fish decoration, but the packaging makes it clear that this one does not sing. Instead, what advertisements say sets Big Sass Seabass apart from its competitors is a sardonic and sarcastic wit that will leave you reeling with laughter. It's oceans of fun for the whole family, and you'll be hooked on this big sassy bass. The words reeling, ocean, and hooked are conveniently bolded to ensure that you recognize how clever the copywriter was. Recently appeared on the cover of Picotee magazine. In the same issue, the Roottrees related article appeared. The issue was removed from stores, has become a collector's item ripe for conspiracy theories about what the Roottrees were trying to keep from people. I feel like we need to find a copy of this magazine with the photos in it. I'll bet the photos are what we need. How would we find it, though? Like conspiracy websites. During your initial search, you came across Thomas Overwood's. Okay, 8 months later, the page exists still thriving. Visitor count reached 7 digits. Many older articles have been replaced. It seems that the recent uprising in Roottree News left Thomas Overwood a constant stream of new events to base new theories on. According to one of his theories more than one of his theories involves Roottree deaths being faked. According to Overwood, statistically, when you have this many high-profile people who've died in a family, odds are that one of them faked their death. It's just math. This newfound focus on death faking seems to coincide with a post mentioning that he's begun believing the Guy's not dead theory. In his own words, my eyes have been open and all of this is beginning to make too much sense. Oh, dang. One of his posts details the belief that Ron Roottree is still in charge, when Roottree's death was faked and that Clark is only there to throw people off. Apparently, this allowed Ron to travel to France to develop their new candy recipe in secret. Another is about the rapper 5Ps. He can't possibly be a Roottree. One of his first album songs, when he was performing under the devil name, actually mentioned that he wanted to have sex with Raina. Oh, geez. Not even Sam Madsen is spared. According to Overwood, the author of 6 Pieces isn't real. Sam Madsen is an anagram for Am Madness. They're purposefully leaving hints for us. He claims that by using 6 Pieces with Lauren Roottree's book as a one-time pad, he's begun to decrypt a cipher. And most of the cipher has seemed meaningless, but he has managed to pick out the words people and vastness and is working on figuring out what that means. There's also a request at the bottom. Next year, 2000, is a leap year, and Overwood is looking for funds and volunteers to catch the Roottrees red-handed in Operation RT-29. He specifically mentions not to volunteer if you've ever drunk Spirit Cola, but he doesn't go into why. Okay, this page hasn't been updated. Oh, dang. Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's see. This page was updated, so I thought maybe he would have on his website, maybe Thomas would have the photos, you know? Let's see the Guy's not dead theory. Aha! There it is, there it is, there it is, there it is, there it is! The Guy's not dead conspiracy stems from a website that focuses on clues that the Roottrees have supposedly hid all over the place. This includes on candy wrappers, in print advertisements, in television commercials and their jingles, etc. The story, according to the website, is that Guy Hudson was a terrible president of the Roottrees Company and introduced multiple failed products. Something needed to be done that would put the company immediately and instantly back in the favor of the consumers. So they killed off Guy Hudson and replaced him with a new president. This move immediately garnered sympathy, and the company recovered the next year more popular than ever. The next president stayed much further out of the limelight, and some people even theorized that he was simply Guy Hudson in an elaborate disguise, which is why he stopped appearing in public. The people who run the site are asking for help. They're certain that there's a clue to all of this in the accidentally leaked in a banned article from the magazine Picotee. On their page is a scan of the magazine's cover, the interview with Cicely Sanchez about Guy Hudson, and some photos. You add them to your evidence. Okay, and now that thing is gone. So Picotee changed. So the Picotee this changed. So intuition levels do change. So I should probably always check all these things. Maybe that's what we missed in the first game. All right, Picotee. All right, this is an interview with Cicely Sanchez, an author. She was hired to write a book about Guy Hudson. You claim to have been paid a significant amount to write a book about one of the Roottrees, Guy Hudson. He was president for a short period at the end of the 1970s, right? Yeah, I met him on New Year's Eve, actually. The last night of 1978. Guy liked to throw big parties. I was just coming off of Changed Man and looking for my next project. When his wife learned who I was, she invited me to the party and they cornered me to talk about a book. That was the first time anyone recognized me from my work. I had finally made it. The book they asked me to write sounded great, but then none of the stuff that made him interesting was allowed to stay. Chop, chop, snip, snip. Anything with even the slightest threat to Guy's image ended up gonzo. Okay, hang on real quick. Changed Man must have been a book. And I don't know how important it'll be, but I don't want to... Sanchez. No. Okay. I thought maybe that would be a thing. Oh, Portrait of a Changed Man. Okay. I feel like we'd looked this up once. Okay, I thought maybe it would give us like a picture of her or something. All right, we'll come back to it. All right, what's the stuff that made him interesting? Well, at his core, Guy was not complicated. In fact, I think I could boil him down to true traits. First, he wanted to be seen as the second coming of the great Elias Roottree. And second, he'd never be satisfied living the life needed to be seen that way. He had his fortune and good looks, and he really liked to exploit that to pick up women. But he couldn't let anyone else know, so it cost him a lot to cover it up. That was the only interesting aspect of Guy. He was James Bond trying to convince people he was Mr. Rogers, I guess? Mr. Rogers, really? Well, maybe that's not the best metaphor, but Elias Roottree was boring as all hell and all about family. Guy did everything he could to be seen that way. After I submitted my first draft, he sent me this garbage book, The Roottrees Legacy, with Elias on the cover. I wonder who... Wow, I missed a lot making dinner, eating, and then doing 4 responses to 2 discussions for college. Well, that's what happens when you're not paying attention. Family Man, The Roottrees Legacy by Bess Williams. It was recently republished with the same company that printed Lauren's Diary for schools. Seems they wished to capitalize on Roottree mania. It did not work. Reprinting of an old book about Elias Roottree is blatant corporate propaganda, but that's okay. We have it now. Okay. After I submitted my first draft, he sent me this garbage book, The Roottrees Legacy. Last time he and I met, he had even switched out his orange suits for the same green ones that Elias wore. What a one-track mind, I can't help it. What'd you end up having for dinner, though? And was it good? At least my boyfriend thinks it's cute, though. Remember fancy flavors? Guy knew that part of Elias's legacy was the 5 pieces flavors, so that's what Guy tried to do. Caviar was a disaster here, but it was actually somewhat popular in Brazil for whatever reason. So in Christmas 1979, he went to Brazil to open the Roottrees Brazil factory. He was always hopping around the world trying to recreate that success. So how come the book never came out? It's complicated. I had an out in my contract. Surprisingly, Guy signed the contract my lawyers wrote without running it by anybody in his legal department. I could pull my name off the book at any time, but Guy still got the content. After I left, it probably got a lot harder to convince any real publisher to give it their time. But he was the president, right? Do you know he never released it himself? If I had to guess, his family very wisely put a stop to it. Mid-1981, months after I had already moved on, he called me back and showed me a final draft. Do you know how expensive it is to publish one copy of a book? It had my name on it, like in big, shiny, embossed letters. Like all problems in his life, throwing money at me was his attempt to win me back. But it had half the page count and the narrative was torn to bits. No thanks. The dinner was good. Imported steak that likely cost as much as a month of my mortgage. We all got pretty drunk. He sent his mistress, Susie something, into the bathroom to proposition me. Poor girl. I remember her from our trips overseas. She was too good for him. Anyways, he died soon after, and that was the last it ever came up. Susie? Susan Ford. She must be the other one. She must be maybe this one. Susie something. Oh. Right, Susan Ford was his interpreter during all of those overseas trips. Had 4 cheese lasagna skillet dinner. It wasn't what I was expecting. It was okay, but I'm happy to never have it again. Wish I had the shake and bake pork chops from last night. Ooh, shake and bake. She was what did I call her? Translator. I don't see that on here. I wonder if Susie was, yeah, okay, all right. She was too good for him. Anyways, he died soon after, and that was the last it ever came up. What can you tell us about the family? Any insight into the scandals from the recent book by Sam Madsen? Actually, I haven't read it. I just skimmed the sections on Guy to see why people were suddenly calling me up to ask about the man. I'd say she did well for what she had to work with. She only had rumors, whereas I spent time tailing him. Sometimes he knew, sometimes he didn't. He invited me to join them when dealing with Roottrees Brazil, but I actually had people on him when he went to Australia, France, and China too. When he met with someone, I'd figure out who they were and how they were involved. Doubly so if the meeting happened when he didn't want me to be around. Despite his best efforts, I got the whole truth, including things even his family never knew. For example, the daughter of the business partner in Australia, I think her name was Robin, he and she definitely spent a few nights together that he didn't want his family to know about. But I did. We haven't even looked up the other Roottrees, like Roottrees Australia or Roottrees France. So Madsen got things wrong? Sam mentions Guy's affairs and treats them like most people would logically think to treat them, like the infidelity was a problem for Patricia. When his first wife approached me, though, it wasn't to talk, if you get my meaning. On paper and in public, it was a marriage like any other, but in reality, it's more of a mutually beneficial arrangement. They both got what they wanted out of it. The same thing. What was that? I'm assuming I only have to spell it out so you can get it in writing for your readers. Women. Patricia enjoyed the company of women, and the swinger scene made that more accessible. I told her I wasn't interested in her and Guy. I found out later that if I had said yes, her next question would have been whether or not her husband actually had to be there too. Guy, on the other hand, was seen in a traditional marriage, and at the time could bed any women that found him charming. I can assure you, that was exactly the type of marriage he was interested in. So basically, this guy was a hardcore player. Yeah, sounds like it. Alright, there's Family Man. Okay, here's some pictures. Okay, here we go. This photo is from the magazine interview with Cicely Sanchez and Piketty. The issue of Piketty magazine that it came from was pulled from the shelves, but you managed to find it online. Piketty is not labeled as individual photos. Both photos were instead under the shared label. Cicely provided these photos by the Roottrees Company for use in her book. Okay, so this is a blonde lady? Right around the time that they took over. So this might honestly be Christine, his secretary. Okay, because Christine used to work for Zach, and then, yeah. Okay. Ooh, who are all these ladies? This is a photo from a magazine interview with Cicely Sanchez and Picoty, blah, 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 blah. In the background photo, there is a Christmas tree. I wonder if this is Sonia Alves and her husband. The question is, who's that other lady? I wonder if that's Susan. That's probably Edson Suarez. I think this is Susan Ford, who's maybe just kind of in the background. These are all him. I'll bet this one's Sonia Alves. If I had to guess. Oh, man. Didn't I have somebody else? Oh, I still have Stephanie Landon. Alright, I'm gonna do something a little crazy here. Advertising, architect, artist, author, cashier. Well, let me just try actually searching her for a second. Hello, Miss Lemon. How are you? How's it going? Look at the little kitty cat emote. How are you? We're playing The Roottrees Are Dead. I love this new information about Patricia too. Like, damn, they both got around. Yeah. She ran a place. Oh, there was a whole. Okay, Miss Lemon, I do have to tell you, if you've never seen this game, we are in the second half of the game. Caution for spoilers because we're pretty far into it, but it's really interesting. So the Roottrees Are Dead is basically like you're trying to put together a family tree and history on like the Roottree family after an incident happens where some of the family members are involved in a plane crash. You're in 1999 or 1998 in the original version, and you have like basically like Google, the library, and periodicals. Don't worry, I will forget everything. Okay, perfect. So you search things through like your spider search, which is Google. The public library can look up books, and periodicals where you can look up magazines, and you're trying to put together like all of this family tree information, and it's fascinating. And it's like a lot of logic and a lot of like trying to search for and find information on people. So it's really good. But welcome. Okay, she ran a place. There was a whole deaf school. Was she the one who had the school? Oh, dang. Okay, that's gonna be like way back in her history, I feel like. Is this where the Dove something... What was it? Foreign Gospel. Was there like a... There it is. Grandorf School for the Deaf, and formerly Grandorf Dove. Located about an hour from where Roottrees offices used to be in Butler County. Okay. The founder had issues with government translators leading to an odd screen. Okay. Here we go. The principal, Miss Ford. She's a principal. Good memory, Fairy Orb, because I would not. Bum, bum, bum. Yay! It's very also, Miss Lemon, if you've ever played Return of the Obra Dinn, it's extremely familiar to that as well. Like, very similar vibes, but less exploring through scenes and more like searching the internet. Booyah! You haven't, but I've seen some streams. Also,
Hey there.
highly
it's
recommend
us.
that game.
So I just have to say, the work.
Oh,
you're
they're both
doing
here together.
is fantastic.
I sell searching the internet. I love it. Yes.
So fantastic, in fact.
Oh.
There goes Clark. Always the bad
Uh-oh.
cop. Go ahead.
What's wrong with my
Well,
searching?
our
My searching's
law firm,
great.
Ruby Legal Enterprises is having trouble keeping up.
Tell that girl whatever her face is to get
They're
better
actually
then.
begging us to stop submitting new root trees.
I
They
will
said it's
not.
getting difficult to verify your progress.
You won't stop me now.
Well, consider that a good thing. I told Clark you'd get results.
Yeah.
Says that like I didn't believe her. Regardless, the bad news is it's going to take 5
Five?
potential free editions before
Five
anyone
editions?
locks in from now on.
5 editions?
Good luck.
Well, it's okay. I think it's
And
only...
keep up the good work.
We will not stop. I will keep up the good work. Thank you, Sam. I think I only have like 5 left, right? Who do I have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... Wait, what? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8... 9. 9, 10. Okay. So I know that's so many. Part of what's been like, quote unquote, easy about it is just that we've been able to search, like, I've been able to lock in information based on having other people that we know are correct. Yeah, we haven't looked at this infidelity, like, at all. And that's the one with Elias. Okay, but we have that book now. I think that book, the Family Man, the Roottrees Legacy, that's got to be our jumping off point for that. But we still need to find Susan's kids. Ms. Ford's bio also mentions she's not deaf herself. Securing funds in for the Hudson wing. That was for Guy Hudson, right? It's an expansion to Grandorf Dove, built in 1982. He generously donated $250,000. Mentions she learned ASL from the main school before the Hudson wing even existed to surprise her future husband, who was deaf. After realizing how useful a service like this could be to non-deaf people that wish to better serve those with hearing issues, she convinced Roottrees management to invest in the school. Hudson Wing opened, she became the first teacher at the new campus. At first it operated only on weekends, but since then has added afternoon classes on some weekdays. How many infidelities does this family have? There's so many. So many, dude. Like, there's possible infidelity 1, possible infidelity 2, but then Guy Hudson alone had multiple possible infidelities. And this is just like a family tree update where they had a baby. But yeah, we've got lots of infidelities here going on. A lot of potential new Roottrees. So it's a lot. So we can figure out who her husband is. So alright, let me just try Susan Ford real quick in all of these. And then I might try the name of her school. It is really hot in my office. Also, actually, I wonder... What do the intuition things look like? Reminders. Oh, most notable beats from your initial dive. Okay. Jones. Okay. Family Man, a book about Elias Roottree turned out to be propaganda, not useful. But now it is useful. We found the book. Okay. What else is important? Something about 6 pieces. This has to be all the information about Elizabeth. Company records. So Susan Ford, right, and Susan Ford here. So maybe she's the reason why that's important. Diary. Wait. Diary cruelty? Oh, my parents are a perfect match in the worst way. Oh, here, this is all about Elias and Sam. She had a lisp. Okay, that'll be important for the first infidelity. Yeah, and these are just the ones that resulted in children. That is true. That is true. We're only looking at the ones that are related to possible Roottrees. I wonder what here is still important. Maybe just the 6 pieces book and the fact that it points there. Ubiquity page 2. Oh, right. There was that whole section about Robin and his business partner in Australia. Okay. Roottrees Oss, one of the companies. Create, manufacture, and distribute Roottrees candy. Wait, if she had a lisp, then maybe it's Bess and not Beth? Who was Bess? Bess was somebody, right? Oh, now I can't remember. Where was Bess? Somebody was named Bess. This must have been before... Your car is named Bess Carvin? That's amazing. What if it's actually Bess Marvin that she had a relationship with, and this whole game is actually related to Nancy Drew? That'd be amazing. This must have been before they made the thing to prevent guys from making babies. Yeah, everybody's over here having babies. Okay, this was developed as part of Roottrees Everywhere initiative. Charles Martin owned a company that manufactured licorice in Australia. Was tapped to run the Roottrees factory after he impressed the American leadership. Okay. After the death... Oh, the manufacturing leg of the company shuttered in 92 after the death of Martin. Now they're just an importer and distributor. I'm not sure he has anything to do with this, but... He had a popular brand of licorice called Martin's Licorice Bullets. Most of his history is unrelated to the Roottrees. However, he helped develop Roottrees Aus. Distribute the maple treats through the same methods he'd already been using for his previous candy stuff. Very unusual business agreement with the main Roottrees company in the U.S. Much like how the Clancy Trust distributed the profits from the Roottrees company evenly to the Roottrees family, the profits of Roottrees Aus will be split 50-50 between the American Roottrees company and Martin himself. This is interesting. Yeah, it's probably Robin Martin. This made Martin very, very wealthy, but also led to many cost-cutting measures meant to increase profits as much as possible, especially towards the end of Martin's life in the early 90s. Roottrees candy gained a poor reputation in Australia, and sales suffered immensely. His fortune passed to his daughter, Robin Martin, who sold both businesses at the first opportunity. So she's featured in many of the top 100 wealthiest women in the world list. She owns a private island off the coast of Australia, where she reportedly has her own exclusive retreat. She has no husband, and there was widely circulated rumor somewhere in the 70s that she had a medical procedure to ensure she would never have children. You find a joke on a site called Edgy Jokes that implies she's quite promiscuous and has a punchline involving Robin's eggs? What? For what it's worth, Martin seemed to lean into the rumors. In the 80s, she once showed up at a charity function with 3 very attractive men, each wearing a shirt that simply said, "Satisfied partner" on it. Girl, get it. What in the world? Okay, so maybe she has no husband. We already found all of Guy's potential partners, and we've got everybody locked in. So I highly doubt that there's anything... I don't think she's going to be in the tree at all. I just don't know if there's somewhere where it connects her to, Susan Ford. Tell us the full joke game. I dare you. Let's see. Sold off her father's assets in 92, year after he died, combined with her inheritance, immediately catapulted her to almost an unimaginable level of wealth. Writer of Business Watch, who was assigned to report on this news, seems to disapprove of this move immensely. Nobody cares. The article does touch on the announcements of who took over the licorice division, as well as what's become the maple candy factory. Entire text seems to be dripping with contempt that someone would be willing to dismantle and gut such a successful business to earn a quick buck. The article ends with a dig at Robin's personal life and lack of traditional value. But who am I to judge? Maybe she sold it to ensure a better future for her own children. Oh, wait. Whoa, dude. Who wrote this piece of shit? Where else? News Time? Maybe Picoti? Maybe Teen Blast? Maybe Telephoto? Alright. I'm not sure that honestly, I'm not sure if there's much going on there. But Bess. Who was Bess? So we think it's not Knox, then. Bess. There was somebody named Bess somewhere. Yeah, whoever wrote that is absolutely a jerk. Alright, let's take a look at the book. The Family Man book. Here we go. Oh, Bess Williams. She wrote the book. Bess Williams wrote the book. That's where it was from. The dictionary defines propaganda as information. It's gotta be. I'm locking it in. I'm locking it in. I'm putting it in. Don't care. Bess Williams. Okay. The dictionary defines propaganda as information, especially of a biased or misleading nature, used to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. But if they were to replace that definition with a picture, it would be a picture of this book. The book tells you nothing new about Elias, and from what you know of his true feelings towards some of his extended family, you're not sure it tells you anything true about Elias either. The reissue of this book was so lazy that they reused the famous photo of Elias from Business Watch, whose copyright had expired. Best thing it has going for it is that it's only 85 pages long. But there's 2 intuition points from this. Especially considering her dad had already gutted the company, it was probably in Robin's best interest to sell it. Yeah, somebody was just probably jealous of women having money. Unknown occupation, he was the first president. Bess Williams was a secretary and author? Oof, that was savage. Oh, we can put this extra picture of him in there. Now that we have an extra picture of him. Okay, so do we search Bess Williams then? Did she write anything else? Author born in the late 1800s. She lived just outside Miami and died tragically young in a major hurricane that struck the area in 1926. Okay, this infidelity was in 1921. She has a minor history with Roottrees. Her only notable book, Family Man, is widely considered blatant propaganda about Elias Roottree. It had been all forgotten until recently when it was re-released during the height of Roottree mania. There's a site dedicated to hurricane statistics that also mentions Bess Williams. The Bocadoro Library, not far from where she lived, was partially destroyed in the hurricane. When they rebuilt, they renamed the nonfiction section after her. Library was expanded again in 1950 and then closed in 1963 when multiple larger libraries opened in the surrounding area that made it redundant. Alright, let's check out the library. Bocadoro Library no longer exists. You find multiple libraries in the area. According to the website for the library system in Miami, the building where it once sat is now the Miami Print Museum. Searching for the Miami Print Museum, you come across their website. States their hours, list of exhibits. The building is very small, admission is free, and they only have one room for a few different displays. One of the exhibits is their courtyard, which includes a fountain as well as a statue of an unknown author. Picture has been added to your evidence. Another is a printing press that was used by the Miami Sunday, a now defunct weekly newspaper. The last is the original print of Cuba by Cubans, an art book. I wonder if the Miami Sunday is a newspaper we can get. No records you can find online or in your periodical search. It merged with another periodical and became the Miami Mercury Sunday, which folded after only a year. Only lasted for a year. You find a small website about quirky printing history facts that mentions the Miami Mercury Sunday was the outcome of merging 2 smaller failing newspapers. This just resulted in one larger failing newspaper, which is only notable to the author because by combining the names in the way they did, it was tied for the longest title for an American newspaper at the time, with a newspaper in Jefferson, Texas. So we looked at the Miami Sunday. It became the Miami Mercury Sunday. So what was the Miami Mercury? Miami Mercury is a now defunct newspaper that merged with Miami Sunday. The resulting paper went out of business. Some point during your process, it was at least partially archived and available via your periodical search. Oof. Let's go. Alright, also... Okay. So we're thinking this is Bess Williams. And I'll bet we'll be able to find something in that other magazine, the Miami Mercury. Has an article about Bess Williams' section of the Bocadoro Library when it was being built in 1928. Mentions that Bess's young son, now an orphan, was in attendance during the dedication. Also had a later mention from 1949, the last year the paper existed, about a bidding war for a planned expansion of the library in 1950. The bidding was won by Wildcat Construction and included a new statue, fountain, and a second room that would double its shelf count. So what's Wildcat Construction? Mentioned once in an article you've already seen, also better mentioned earlier, or is also mentioned earlier in 1947 under the headline Constructing a Better World. Frank Wildcat Williams left Florida in 1941, a construction worker, and returned a hero. He won the Navy Cross for his bravery and sacrifice, having carried a fellow soldier to safety under heavy Nazi fire. I feel like this is probably their son. Now he and his wife Ophelia are carrying his fellow soldiers through tough times at home. Wildcat Construction is Frank's company focused on... Yeah, we at least know she had a son, and who else would construct a statue of her when she clearly only authored, like, one book, and it was not very famous at that. So, like, who else would put a statue of her at the library other than maybe her son? Wildcat Construction's Frank's company focused on creating opportunities for soldiers finding difficulty getting back to normal. Ophelia has handled outreach to the wives of local veterans who are often able to provide insight into their husbands' needs and conditions. She has, through such outreach, found 13 veterans of the war to serve as Frank's employees. That's so cool. Community support has been unendingly and overwhelmingly positive. It has gotten to the point where if Frank bids on a project, other local companies have decided to step back and let his soldiers handle it. This has become a bit of a sore spot for local politicians and business owners, as the bids are often not as low as they expected. The problem for them is that essentially Frank has a selective monopoly, but any attempt to circumvent it has caused an uproar and accusations of being un-American. It's uncertain what will become of Wildcat Construction, but at least for now, we're rooting for them. Alright, so Frank Wildcat Williams? I mean, and the last name is Williams, so... So I think this is Frank Williams. And his wife, Ophelia, whose maiden name we don't know yet. He was in construction. So wait, married and a guardian. So John Doe. Oh, it's nice that they have it blacked out if you can't find out the name. So they had a kid and then became... Something must have happened to their child. If this is a John Doe, we can probably assume that this is a woman. So they had a daughter. Something must have happened to their daughter, or they split up, and Frank and Ophelia became guardians of their grandchild. Is what it looks like. Let's stick Bess's photo in there. But where else? I was gonna look... No. I don't even know if we'll... I don't know. Alright. Let's see. Frank Wildcat Williams. What if we can search him on our Google... Oh my gosh, it's 3.5 hours. I'm half an hour over my stream time. I'm having so much fun that I did not even notice a little bit. Oops. Okay, well here's him. He was juggling hammers on a construction site. There's the statue in the background. I feel like we're so close though to the end. You know what I mean? But I should probably stop. Alright. That's him. Okay. So let me... Alright, I need to call it. I did not realize it was so late. Yeah, I just said that before you noticed. Alright. Start here next stream. Alright. Save that note. Frank Wildcat Williams. So we'll start there next stream and see what we can find out. Because even though, again, this is something that I'm so guilty of all the time. Oh, we're so close to the end. It can't be that much further to figure out these, like, handful of people. Surely this will be easy. Never is. Never is. Next thing you know, it's like another couple hours. So I'm going to call it here for the night. Oh my goodness. Let's get a little zoom. Zoom. Alright, let me... Oh, no, don't do that. Camera. There we go. Camera button. Alright, thank you all so much for hanging out with me tonight. I really appreciate it. See if there's anybody out there to raid. I don't know if there's anybody that I'm following. Yeah, if we only needed like 3, it would have been a great place to stop. I mean, it'll be fine. We need 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more people plus whatever's in the top secret envelope that we haven't even opened yet. And last time that was like, oh, you need to figure out stuff about a few more people. Luckily we had people already, I don't know, doing stuff. have anybody that I'm following who's still streaming. If anybody has any recommendations, let me know. I see Secret Sleepover Society is still streaming, but I have no idea if they're going to be, like, done soon. You know what I mean? Because I feel like they're usually only stream for 2 hours, and it's already there at 2.5. Oh, that is true. We did know the envelope so fast, but still, we still have to figure out everything about, like, a couple generations down. So I think it's going to take a while. Let's see. Yeah, we'll go over to Secret Sleepover Society for a minute, just because I don't know anybody else who's streaming. And I kind of want to take a quick peek at the game they're playing, which is called Blueprints, which is a new game that just came out a couple days ago, and I want to see a little bit of it because I think it's something I want to play. It's some kind of, like, roguelike puzzle game. I don't know. I'm gonna send us all over there so we can go check it out and see what it is. Yeah, but that's gonna be it for me for the night. Thank y'all so much for joining me. Next stream will be Tuesday. We'll do Tuesday Drew's Day, and Thursday we'll play Siberia, and on Sunday we'll be back for more Root Tree Mania. So thank you all so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it, and I hope you all have a good night, and I will see y'all later. Bye.